East of Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, I love Georgia.
All right,
Man.
we are on. So.
All right, cool. Once I get us posted.
Yeah, so this is our final. It's not our final podcast, but it's our final podcast from the studio. Sadly, we got to tear it down
from the belly of the beast.
We're gonna take take his. I already started taking stuff down and
we can clear this out tonight if you want.
Yeah, we can. My mom wants to keep the black walls.
Okay, good.
So
hey, so we're good on sound. Let me just post the link real quick.
So Brandon Barret.
Yeah,
thanks for coming on, man. Last minute.
Yeah.
You were our fucking last choice. I just want to let you know that.
No.
I called like 8 people, and they were like, "Nah, I can't do it." No, I didn't.
Yeah. I understand.
No, I sent it out to. I sent you and Garrett. I think you and Garrett only. Garrett came back and said he had a dinner, and you came back and said, "Let's do it." So.
Yeah. Had to talk to the old lady for a minute, but she was all about it. So
nice.
Right.
Yeah, it can be on a weeknight and then late. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We can tune in, man.
My son does that jiu-jitsu up there in Sanford. And,
shit! Hell yeah!
I was going to go with him.
How old is he?
He's 11. Well, he turns 11 next week. Actually,
that's good. That's my son. I had him doing that when we moved to Texas, and then when we moved back, it's just I didn't know they had one in Sanford. The only one I knew was in Hope Mills.
Aries BJJ, I believe it's called.
Shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a school down in Nicaragua where we're going. He said he wanted to get back into it. So. All right, so let me just start with this.
I have to do Jamie. I'm our Jamie, so I'm always involved with this stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Friday evening. Okay, Friday evening, about 5:00. It was a what do you call overcast all day.
Mm-hmm.
I already took a sip of that Buffalo Trace, and I'm already like getting fucked up. I don't drink, but anyway, I look over my fucking left shoulder. Now this is an hour after you sent me a picture of a big-ass buck, his ass anyway, we could see his widespread. And I look over my left shoulder, and 60 yards away, 50 yards away, and, sun's going down, there's a fucking beast. All I could see was 4 on one side, and he just had a big body. So I look over at him. He's standing still. He's looking in my direction, but he's not looking up. And granted, I'm downhill. He's uphill. I'm 20 feet. So maybe it looks like I'm 10 feet off the ground. And all I did was reach up real slow and put my hand on the handle of my bow. And then I went ahead and, got my release hooked. He couldn't see that, but he just didn't move. And I watched him. And I figured, okay, he's going to come down this trail. As soon as he breaks 30 yards, I'm coming unhooked. I'm going to go ahead and draw. That gives me about 4 seconds if he does see me and stop. Had it all planned out. He walked forward about, 5 or 6 steps. And I'm like, okay, fuck. He's going to come on this front trail where the scrapes are at. Even better.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him right there. And then he went out of view because it was getting dark. And I waited and waited and waited and waited. I didn't move for like 20 minutes. And then finally I hit a snort wheeze. Something, I couldn't hit a call because where he was at, he would have looked up and saw me. So in retrospect, he probably saw me, because I didn't see him come in and I moved. And if I would have had a gun, he would have been dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mean, that area we're talking about is prime location. You have a rifle?
Yeah.
Man, you're killing some monsters.
He would have been dead. So that right there goes to the fucking why I give fucking gun hunters shit. It's not personal, but
style points, man.
Bow hunting is fucking hard, man.
It is. Everything's got to line up perfectly.
If they want to hunt this week, they're going to find out.
Oh, yeah.
Archery only out there.
God, that's the second massive. I'm talking, this was a big guy. He was at least a 12-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least a 10-pointer. I don't know if he was 12 because I couldn't see his brow tines. And in that picture that you have of his ass,
that deer had a big brow tines.
He's wide. And then earlier in September, I had one come out, and I couldn't get to the 3 o'clock in the saddle. I was new, so a lot of hiccups this year. But fuck you, gun hunters. That shit's easy. My son could do it.
Hunting's hard, but there's definitely an edge on bow hunting because, like I said, everything's got to line up, and then you may see every deer out there, and are they going to come within shooting range? Probably not.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've hunted just about every weekend since it opened with bow. Finally, one morning, I woke up at midnight because I was like, man, I might hit one of those NTAs. And lo and behold, the old NTA group was open.
Oh, wow.
Like, there's no way. I hit NTA 8, and I'm like, yeah, I'm signing in. I'd planned to go to our spot.
Goddamn.
But I didn't conflict with you that day, so I was like, I'm going to hit the NTA 8. Never been in NTA 8 before. Never scouted it, nothing. I've scouted it all over the place except for that one.
Oh.
And I was like, I got on Onyx that morning when I woke up about 5, and I'm like, all right, this looks cool. This is not far off the road. Got out there. It's pitch black. just walked off in the woods. I saw a tree. I was like, oh, that looks pretty open over there. Climbed it. It was that really cold morning. It's probably like 32 degrees. Frost coming up everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I'm going to see a deer. I popped a little doe piss out there, chilling. Nothing happening. I'm hearing gunshots off in the distance, probably from 7. I'm like, man, what's going on? And all of a sudden a car, like 20 minutes in, just blaring down the road through there. Like, that's just part of NTA 8, I guess.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast.
And 5 minutes after that car rode through, there come trotting out a little buck. Probably a little 6-point, but I mean, I hadn't killed anything in North Carolina yet. So I'm like, hey, I'm about to shoot this fella. So I get my gun up there. I'm all excited. First hunt of the season. Messed up and didn't sight it in at the beginning of the season. So I get him in the crosshairs.
30-06?
30-06.
I remember this story, yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing about the story, I shot at him once, and I was like, oh, he trotted down, and he's sitting there. I was like, I tried to look through, see if I see any blood. Didn't hit him. He just trotted down about 20 more yards and was like trying to find me. So I hit the bolt real quick, real quiet and smooth. Click. I didn't go far enough back for it to grab the. It ejected one.
I'm about to say, using Remingtons?
No, this was a Savage Trophy Hunter.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit. So I grabbed it and pulled it back far enough, real slow and quiet. He stayed right there. He noticed me on that one, and he was sitting still. And I pulled up. I was turned real weird because he came in on my right side, and I shoot to the left. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Sound like a guitar.
Yeah, it's the springs. Yeah.
So I'm beat it in on him, and I shoot. He's probably 120 yards out there, and I kept my eye open. I saw the dirt hit up right under him.
Oh man, that was it. Huh?
So that's the one you totally missed.
Totally missed.
Okay.
Did he spook?
Low and right, and he spooked, and he was gone.
Yeah.
So I was all pissed off. I reloaded, and I was just looking around. I was like, well, it's a nice morning. I'm going to sit here. Probably 30 minutes later, a doe came walking out about 200 yards, and my gun was already bad. And I was like, oh, man. Not even try. So I was pissed off. I got down and drove home. Was cussing and shit. Threw the gun on the couch and was telling the wife. And I was like, then I got on there talking about it, and somebody said riding gun club. So I told the wife, let's load up and go there.
Yeah.
$75 later, I'm sighted in and travel to Georgia and kill 3 deer with it.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Congrats on that. Yeah, I remember you hit me up. That was when we just started talking, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
I think we were both going out that morning. Yeah, that's you got some nice ones, man. Georgia produces, dude.
Yeah, I mean, just little private land, like I was talking about that before. My father-in-law owns a granite industry thing, and they have a granite dump where any of the sprawls or anything they cut, and they go over there and dump it at that place. And it's probably about 45 acres, but the back 30 is wooded, and it's all good and hilly, got some good bottom area.
Nice.
And I own a little road in there, which I sent you a picture of.
Yeah, I've seen that picture. It looked nice.
Nobody's been back there, too, probably.
No, it doesn't really get hunted, and it's backed up to probably 5 acres of, like, county land that doesn't get hunted. Mm-hmm. So last year I killed a massive 8-point on there, probably my biggest buck to date. And funny thing is, I killed a 6-point the day before he walked out. And that dude was nose down trailing that blood trail. I'm talking about step for step, followed that blood trail of the deer I drug out.
Huh.
Well, what'd you drag out, a doe or a buck? What'd you drag out?
It was the 6-point I was talking about. I shot him the day before, and literally, normally they say,
he probably don't care about blood. He just smelled that buck.
He probably
Curiosity.
did. But, man, it was a river of blood. Like, I heart shot that deer, and he just bled all the way down to the bottom. Worst pull out I've ever did.
So when are you going to start killing? When are you going to start shooting at, like, good deer? You're shooting at all these damn 6-pointers and 4-pointers.
My biggest argument is, my freezer, I look at it. I got a little judgment. When the deer sausage packs start getting down about 5, I'm like,
that makes sense.
I got to stick.
This is the first year. Every year for the last 10 years up until this year, I'm filling the freezer. I'm shooting everything. Mm-hmm. Bow, gun, don't matter. I'd hunt bow only when I had to, like during bow season, or if I wanted to hunt an area that is just bow only. Yeah. Very rarely though during gun season, I'm hunting bow. And this year, if I wanted to be tagged out, I'd be tagged out. But I don't need the meat because I'm moving. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
I see deer every hunt.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been that good, but I've seen deer. You know, I've seen enough to where I could be tagged out. I've seen 2 nice ones, like I was telling in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't have my damn gun. Yeah, you know. So tell us more about you. Let's listen.
Yeah. It's a nice drive too between here and there. When I went and picked up I picked up a longboard from Cherry Point. Is it Cherry?
That's Cherry Point, is North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. And it was the guy was real nice. It was a cool area, but just driving back, it was beautiful. Like, I just stopped and I'm a picture dude. I love taking pictures of nature. I'm sure y'all see my posts, but I was just amazed because it just looks like that part of South Carolina hasn't changed much. You know.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about Cherry Grove too. That's a real quiet, very small community. A lot of locals there.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of beach rentals, which they do sometimes. I mean, that's good money up there.
Right.
But Cherry Grove's real quiet. It's got everything you need in one little spot.
Yeah. Looks like it's pretty fun. It was off season when I went down there, summer.
The waves
in the
suck,
summer. Yeah, he was telling me, the guy, he's like, he's like envious of us because he's like, where do you surf? I was like, Wrightsville. He's like, man, y'all got it made up there. And I was like, you know what? And it put me into perspective because I'm like, here I am taking it for granted, thinking this is garbage, getting mad when we don't have these but he's like, we don't get anything bigger than 1 to 2 foot here, and it's all longboarding
because it's in that little cut of North Carolina, South Carolina. Yeah, where it kind of cuts
the Outer Banks stops when it comes
even
to
the fishing. You got to fucking go
you got
40 miles just to get decent fishing, and we're already there, and we only got to go we can go a mile off for good king fishing anyway.
Yeah, we vacation there every year for the 4th. This past year, we vacationed and stayed down kind of right across from Earl's Inlet on the tip, the real southern tip of Garden City. And there's a good little sandbar out there. It's producing decent swells. There's a bunch of kids out there doing their little surfing. I'm more of a lake water.
I'm about to ask you, do you surf at all?
I don't surf.
You don't surf?
I wakeboard, stuff like that.
Sweet.
I'm sure I could. I've tried.
Do you want to surf?
I'll try it. If you want to take me and teach me.
I always put it out there. Anyone listen to anyone ever wants to come and surf with us, especially vets, like we actually have an outreach thing we're trying to start. It's slowly coming up called Operation Shred. It's picking up on Facebook. I'll get back more into it. But I'm always, Buddy and I realize, between hunting and surfing, that's the best thing that could happen to us. And he's pursuing, surfing in the off season. So
he said he didn't start that long ago, so that's
and
2 years.
He's made phenomenal improvement.
I'm gonna stick with the longboarding part of it. Not like with hunting. I'm like progressing now. I'm moving into the saddle with the bow because there's something happening in hunting right now. It's been happening slowly over the last 5 years, but now I think it's not a fad. It's a mainstay, and hunting's going to change. If you're still, want to wear your 10-year-old fart sack that, in your coveralls and I don't need that shit. You're going to do that. That's fine. But hunting is kind of transitioning into more of a sport. It's more of an athletic.
Well, it's such a large social media thing now. People like, man, I shot this big buck, check him out. It's giving people big dreams.
Yeah.
So they're like, everybody's like, oh, I got to get the latest camo or this awesome cruiser and get out there and just
marketable. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but some of that stuff too. I mean, I know a lot of it's fad and Sitka, and I don't like wearing my Sitka because it became a fad.
Deer don't walk out unless I'm in Sitka.
Well, I mean, I like First Light now. Kuiu, I think is how it's pronounced. I've been calling it Kui for years.
There's a way to say it. No, what do they say? It's like Kuiu. Yeah,
Kuiu.
That sounds
Kuiu.
Kuiu.
What was it?
It's not just a fad. Is people are like, oh, it's camouflage. The gear itself is very functional. Like, I don't want, if I got to walk, like in my case on Fort Bragg, if I'm walking 400 or 500 yards, that's a long walk on Fort Bragg because you're in an area. But I don't want to have 8 layers of clothes on to stay warm. I want 2 layers. I'm going to be sweaty by the time I climb up and get set. So I want it wicked away, and having the Merino base is good. But just it's almost like a sport now. You got guys now. What do you think of when you think of deer hunter? If I said, draw me a mental picture of a group of deer hunters, what does it look like?
Oh man, I've been hunting all my life. You got the old guy in the old flannel jeans,
with his Walmart coveralls.
You got us out there in our fucking Sitka.
Yeah,
I was raised in real tree and mossy oak.
Right.
Yep, just the old spacesuit coverall.
Ripped up. It's dirty. It smells like 1,000 farts. Carhartt.
That's I always remember in Louisiana, you go when it's deer season. The most happening thing to do is to go to Walmart in your mossy oak because everybody's getting their licenses and all their ammo and stuff.
You're out there in your bottom.
But they're tired looking to me. I didn't grow up deer hunting, but I grew up around deer hunters because you'd see them in the morning. They're just tired looking. They got old camo on. They're bearded. They're scruffy. That's cool. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, blue collar.
But where it's going now, what I see now is I see guys like Steve Randall's a fucking doctor. And he's into it. It's like a sport. It's not just go climb a tree and, eat Little Debbie snacks and fucking shoot a deer with a gun. It's like, let me... get in this weird tree to get in the best spot. You got to be in shape. And I'm finding out real quick.
Especially to pull that damn deer out of the woods.
Pull it out the woods or just even... Have you hunted out a saddle yet?
I haven't, never.
Okay, well,
tree climber, ladder.
It's a young man's game, or there's older guys doing it, but they're in shape, like Cam Haines running 100 miles.
Yeah.
But that shift in deer hunting, I like it. Rather than say, I ain't doing that shit. What'd you call it? The bro fucking CrossFit crowd?
Oh, I've compared saddle hunting to like the CrossFit crowd of deer hunting.
Yeah.
It is, though, man. It's like,
you are. It could be, but rather than run away from it, because when I was working out, when I was lifting, it was like, fucking CrossFit's gay. I ain't doing that shit.
I got a buddy. He's an avid saddle hunter. His son. He'll walk out there and be 20 foot up a tree in like 30
with
seconds.
Sticks?
Yeah, with sticks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's 16. He's tough, strong.
Yeah.
I'm 37, limping on one leg. I mean,
It's social media. It's not just deer hunting. I have a lot of hobbies, right? And even with surfing, social media has kind of opened windows in every hobby. Even with Civil War reenacting, hell, you've got. I'm gonna explain this in Civil War reenacting just because it's something that's off the wall, and it traditionally was just like you. I don't know if you're familiar with Civil War reenacting, but
a little bit.
You join a local unit, and they have events they do every year. But now you've got guys that have done like the research is insane. So you have guys who like, if you go to an event with these guys, you're gonna actually be in the Army in the 1860s. Like they do the paperwork. They've got everything to the T, and it's expensive as hell. And it's like they're the cool guys. They know that they're shit hot. They know they're doing it right. They know that. If you see them, that's as close as we can get without actually being killed or being in the actual army to being in the Civil War in the 1860s. So, but it applies to surfing as well as hunting. You've got surfers who chase swells, who, they listen to podcasts and they do fitness regimes and they're always using cutting edge gear. But then you've got traditionalists like our buddy Martin who just longboard, and he might have one or two boards and that's all he needs, So it's I think it's a sign of it's just how society keeps up with things now, and social media.
Yeah, but you usually pick. Like with the CrossFit, when I was working out, I didn't want to do CrossFit. But with this trend in deer hunting, I like it, so I'm embracing it.
Now
I'm all about the trend. I mean, I got into Sitka. I love it.
Yeah,
it's warm.
People can talk shit about it all they want. They don't want to buy it.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue.
And you get 40% off if you're military. If you know one of us, it's worth it.
Yeah.
You need 2 layers of clothes. Well, I saw you putting on, he's got First Light now, but before he had it,
one silk.
This motherfucker would be putting on like 8 layers of t-shirt, wool. Well, I'm like, I
used to hunt like that. Now,
I can't wear
all
silks
on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wear my Army silks. Those things are warm as shit.
Yeah, that's what I wear under my First Light, and that's all I need.
Yeah, my Sitka, it's I only have a one good layer, but it's like if you wear that in September, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
so
I got the Fanatic. Now, when it gets 30 degrees, I'm out with my heated vest.
We're all from different parts of the country here at Bragg, so everybody has what their comfort level. You grew up in the South. I get it. My wife grew up in the island. She's never warm here ever. She's always cold. So she's warm blooded. So when it's wintertime and it's like 68. That's cold. Today was cold for her in the morning, So
it was cold to me.
I get it.
It's chilly.
I've got this little thing I do. I built an ice plunge, and so they say you ice plunge. You keep doing it, you get acclimated to colder weather.
I'm getting one of those in Nicaragua. I love ice plunges, man.
It's worth it to get it. I mean, I went on there. I watched all the do-it-yourself stuff, and I looked at the price difference. I built mine for about $1,500. That includes the chiller. And
what'd you build it out of?
I bought some severe weather 4x4s. I bought this little dimension thing.
You didn't just buy. I was gonna buy a fucking freezer, man.
See, I thought about that.
Filter it.
You filter it, but it's obviously you just get a sump pump it out, clean it, and all that stuff. But
get all that.
I got the 150-gallon Rubbermaid I got from Tractor Supply. Built my whole frame out.
That's cool.
It's just something different about putting your hands on it and building it.
I need to come over and check it out, man.
Yeah, come on.
I haven't been in a cold plunge in months.
I'll probably fucking make sure I turn it down to like 40.
Yeah, turn it down low.
Cold
my wife likes to do it, so I
love
keep
it
up
low.
a little bit.
Cold plunging for us used to be surfing in the wintertime.
Yeah, wintertime surfing. But that's only like 60 degrees though. When you get in like 40-degree water.
I've done some cold water wakeboarding.
Oh,
you had to have the wetsuit on, pump the hot water in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, when you get in that like 40 degrees, it's cold and it takes your breath away, and you're like.
I did it one time. I got it to 38 and I got in there. Man, it was
how long?
I did about 5 minutes.
But when you get out, you feel
great.
You feel amazing.
Good.
Like
man.
I do it before I go work out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it gets that blood.
I've already heated up. I'll take my pre-workout sometimes before I get in.
Yeah.
So I get that crackhead itch while I'm in the water, and I'm just like,
oh, I don't know if that's safe. You might have a heart attack.
It might not be safe, but it's fun.
It's fun and it feels good.
Be careful with that stuff, because I did have a friend who was in amazing shape, close family friend, and he was in Hawaii doing a physical rehab, and he actually died because of cold plunging. He put his body into shock.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always, I'm hall monitor.
See,
how?
I did it safely. I started cold plunging last year.
How did he die from cold plunging?
It can happen. It's
shock, dude.
if he tried to go too cold too quick.
Too cold, okay.
One of those things, hyperthermic real easy. You're not, max maybe 10 minutes is usually what you should do. A lot of people try to push it. They get in ice water at 32 degrees and they're holding a straw up trying to breathe underwater. And I'm not about that life. I'm comfort. Like 50 degrees, I'm going to get the same thing you're getting except...
50 is good. Sometimes it's fun when I had... access to one to get in there because it's ridiculous how you can't breathe.
Yeah, before you get out of here, come check it out.
How your body is literally saying, "Get the fuck out of here!"
It's the mental bridge you got to cross to get in the water. I'll sit there for 10 minutes pacing. My wife's like, "You're being a bitch."
Yeah.
She gets in it now, and I can't bitch out anymore.
Yeah. Even the cold shower in the morning is not anything compared to a cold plunge, but it is the equivalent, like of doing something hard in the morning.
Yeah, doing it, setting up the rest of the day,
and it does wake you up.
The release, you're just calm and happy the rest of the day. It's like I'm thinking about doing it before I go on a hunt. For one, the cold water, I'll be acclimated to the cold air.
Yeah,
my body will be hot. I'll just be out there relaxing, having a good time. You know.
And when you get out of the Army, you can smoke dope, take an edible, and then go.
See, maybe an edible one day. Back in the day, I've looked at the stuff, but
so my man here's a pilot.
Yeah, I'm about to bring that up. So you obviously hunting is the adrenaline chase for you because we all pursue something that's adrenaline. So. You've got a good outlet though. I mean, so you're an Apache. You want to tell everybody what you do for a living?
Background: I've been in the Army for about 16 years. I joined in Myrtle Beach where we started the story. We kind of digress.
Yeah, we digress. We always do.
There's no rules.
We got no time limit, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So 2007, I got bored. I was out of money, and I watched an episode. Like I was playing video games, and we shut it off, and all of a sudden the first commercial. Army of One.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Had the Rangers on there. I was like, man, that looks badass. Me and my friends sitting together and like. All right, we hopped up and went straight to recruiting station. Old dude had a bunch of health problems, so he didn't get to join. But 2 weeks later, my ass was in MEPS.
What was your MOS?
Coming in the Army, at first...
Because I'm saying, you watched the Rangers and the cool, I'm going to be...
Yeah, I didn't play that part. My grandpa was an MP back in W2, or in Korean War. So I was like, I want to be an MP, but they're two different type of MPs from that day to this day.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, you can be an MP and go up to Fort Bragg from Myrtle Beach and, do that. And I was like, all right. And I was left all like, all right, I'm joining the Army. I'm going to be an MP. Came back to sign papers on it. And the guy was like, we got $20,000 if you want to be a supply guy and stay in Myrtle Beach. And I was like,
hell yeah.
Stay in Myrtle Beach?
Stay in Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, that's where my reserve unit was.
Okay.
Because I joined the reserves out of the
Gotcha.
And so $20,000, I became a 92 Yankee supply guy.
That's a good job to have, though.
Yeah, it's not bad. As far as the stuff you learn logistically and all that. And you're just about everybody's best friend or worst enemy, however you want to put it.
I always made friends with the supply guy. Yeah. Always.
Exactly.
Always.
So I did that for a few years, got out of the Army. I've worked a lot of jobs. Like I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. And I've been in the oil field. I probably spent 5 years of my career in the oil field.
Where at?
I worked in West Texas out in Pecos. I worked in North Louisiana.
Why didn't you stay with that? There was some good money in that,
It was big money, but you remember when it tanked?
Yeah.
We were talking about that last podcast.
Everybody was getting laid off. It was about 2015.
I was working in the oil field in Nigeria when it tanked, and I was in the security. I was one of the first things to get cut.
See, I started in West Texas, went to South Louisiana working offshore. My brother, I worked with him. It was a big family thing. And he was a driller, and he called me up like, "Hey, why don't you come be my derrick hand?"
Is he a drill operator?
Just a drill, like the driller of the rig. Like we worked on these big rigs.
Yeah. So
he sits.
Is he the driver or is he the tool pusher? There's different jobs.
So tool pusher, obvioly management down there in the trailer. Make sure
that's the big money.
Yeah, big money. That's what he wants. He was the tool pusher. Yeah. But he was a driller at the time. Called me up. I was working offshore, just roughnecking, doing whatever I could, making a little money, and offered me the derrick hand job, which I was not exactly qualified for at the time, but I took it.
Yeah.
Went out there and worked with him and stayed out there for about 3 years. Got up to ADN making about $28 an hour, and oil field tanked.
Mm-hmm. They lay you off?
I quit before they laid me off. I was like, I'm going to stick it to them. And I didn't get that unemployment. But it's all right. I went back and worked for my father-in-law in the granite industry, did a little hunting then, and came to the realization I didn't need to work for my father-in-law and joined back Army, went active. And that's where my story kind of began here, because I went back active and...
Back active as a 90
I went back
whatever?
in the Army. I'd already transitioned out, got my DD-214, all that, and was completely out for about 180 days when I started working for my father-in-law. And decided to come back active and got stationed at Bragg. And that's where the story
But did you come
started.
active as the same MOS you were in the reserves?
Yes. I came back supply. I didn't want to change. I was like, I got airborne while I was reserves and all that stuff. And I was like, I want to go somewhere there's airborne, and I ended up going to Bragg, and that's where, you know, a year later I spent some time as supply there, moving up, became an MCO, and then I was like, I want to do something different. So I had my irons in a bunch of fires, trying to do different jobs, and I went to what they call BSEP, which a lot of younger soldiers don't realize that they can just drop a packet for anything as long as they go and raise their GT scores.
Yep.
Did that, got a really high score, and one of the instructors was like, man, you trying to be a pilot or something? I was like, what you mean? I can't do that. I'm fucking NCO. He's like, they take privates. Like, if your scores are good, you drop it. So I started looking into it, dropped a packet, and got selected a few months. Well, it took me about a year because physical, and I was kind of old already and broken, so I had to get through waivers. But that's how I ended up becoming a pilot, dropped the packet, got picked up, and went to flight school.
And so when you go in, do you finish flight school and they say, okay, you're going to fly this helicopter, or do you get to pick? Because you're flying the coolest helicopter in the fucking world, the fucking Apache.
It's fun, I'll tell you that. The way it works, sometimes it's needs in the Army, sometimes OML, you know. Yeah. You if you have the higher score, you get to pick what's on top block. But you show up, you go through your warrant officer candidate school if that's what you're doing, and then once you get through that, you start a few classes and you get into Lakotas is what they're flying now. They had a few different ones back in the day, but you go through a little training period with like these civilian helicopters, but they've been taken in by National Guard and teaching down there. And once you get through and graduate that, you got your OML, and you have a selection day. So I mean, you got fixed wing, which is generally everybody wants fixed wing. That's probably the chillest.
What's a fixed wing helicopter?
It's just like a Cessna or twin plane. Engine. Yeah. It's a plane.
It's a plane. Okay.
I didn't know the Army still does fixed wing aviation.
I didn't know they did either.
There's a bunch of rumor talking about divesting it, but it's not. It's not going anywhere. They got Chinooks, the Blackhawks, and Apaches.
See, that's what I would want to fly, a shit hook. Because it's so big and fucking easy. It looks easy to fly.
Originally, that's what I wanted because I was a paratrooper. I jumped out on them. I did jump master stuff and all that. And it's like, I want to fly a Chinook. But came selection day for us, they had 3 fixed wing and 3 Chinook available and 12 Apaches for us active people. And
you got to take the Apache, bro.
Army told me Apache. So
do they still do Little Birds, or is that more Spec Ops?
Little Birds is Spec Ops. Like if you put in and go Spec Ops, you can get selection into that. It all depends on what you go and how they feel about you on that.
So let me ask you then. I mean, how much time do you have left in? Are you in def now, or?
I'm not in def. As far as being an officer and all that goes, it's you can stay in or you can do like UQR and get out. And I've got about 3 years left on my ADSO right now.
Okay.
So I've got all kinds of plans just to get out and go back home.
So stay in. Do the 20, man. You're 16 years in?
That's counting reserve. I'm getting paid for 16, but I've got to do 12 more active.
Do 12 more, bro.
Have you considered maybe going like 160th or anything like that?
I've considered it, but where I'm at right now in life, I'm 37. I got 3 kids.
You got kids, that's rough.
If I wanted to stay in the military for the 12 years, yes, I would pursue that hardcore. But I've got great opportunities out of the Army, like a little bit better paying, and I can still kind of play, keep it on the side if I want to as a hobby.
Stay in the National Guard so you get that retirement is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna keep playing. I have 16 years of my life.
The granted business is a good business, but it's like everything else. It can tank. You know what I'm saying?
That's just it. It's not going to tank. We do memorials and.
That's right. There you go. Right. We do fucking. Everybody's dying.
It's a dying business.
See, you already set yourself up because you got your pilot's license for helicopters. There's private sector too.
Yeah,
my cousin.
Then you've got.
In Georgia.
I'm sure you have a security clearance, obviously, to work in top secret, probably. And then you've got your supply as well. Your logistics, man. Now logistics is genius. And I trained all that stuff when I was getting out, and I did really well, and I learned all of it. But I haven't applied it. And if I wanted to, I could probably get a pretty kick-ass job. But I hate it. Like I just hate logistics.
It's boring.
To me, it's boring. But it's really great pay.
You want to know I would say the shitty thing about me and my past job as a supply guy. All right, so in the pilot world, warrants, they have what's called additional duties.
Ah, yes.
And for some reason, the Army don't see that an aviation unit needs a actual supply job. They don't need a 982 Yankee to fill that
you're
spot.
that guy.
Yeah.
So command found out I had a supply background. I've been a supply guy ever since I showed up to this place.
The Army takes the fun out of everything, don't they?
I'll tell you what.
You can be like a young soldier, and after like a month in the Army, they can say, okay, look, today we're going to go out and we're going to shoot an automatic fucking grenade launcher, you know?
You're just like,
whatever. What are we having for chow? Hot chow or MREs? I don't give a fuck. I just want to, they take the fun out of it. You don't want to do it no more.
My title's an Apache pilot. By trade, I'm a tactical janitor.
Yeah.
Man, that's
so you get to fly around. What I thought was cool.
Excuse me, I got to step out and use the restroom. I'm drinking a lot of water, but
no worries.
So we met. You want me to wait till you get back?
Carrying on.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
You'll see it on the playback. You bought that thing off me, the air cleaner, and yeah. Come to find out, we hunt in the same spot.
Yeah.
Like literally the same ridge. We won't say where it's at, but
we deconflict.
We deconflict, but how you come to find your hunting spots is what really got. I was like, God damn, I really want to be this guy's friend.
I had to change the way I choose my hunting spots with Fort Bragg because I consider the deer here pressured. Mm-hmm. Where I grew up on private land, out next to a hunting club, the deer weren't pressured. You walk in.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk just about right past one. If they see you moving, they'll run off, but they'll come back. Here, they're pressured. They see you.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that deer.
Right.
That story I told you about that 8-point I tried to get. I have not seen him since. I've moved cameras trying to find him, nothing. But depends on the season too, or where I pick my spots. Like that's one thing I've learned about this place, and from what Michael Skipper talked about, you got to put the time in. You're not going to kill a big deer.
Yeah. But you got an advantage though. Tell us about your advantage. That's what I want to get into.
Yeah, that's what Brandon wanted me to hear. So
I'm
holding off. I got you.
So being an Apache pilot and hovering and flying around,
being a pilot in general out here, you get the bird's eye view.
Yeah,
but,
with that damn FLIR, with that white hot FLIR.
Yeah. So that's a good way I've picked my hunting spots here lately. That's the reason I hunt one of those areas that we hunt.
Yeah.
I was flying one day. We were doing some approaches into a confined area and popped up 30, 40 deer sitting there in my FLIR. And I'm like,
Onyx.
I gave the controls to my backseater and I was like, dropping a GPS point right here. And literally next day I was out there scouting it.
Dang. That's awesome. It's awesome, but for a while there, I hunted that. Me and Randy hunted that area exclusively. There's one old guy out there. He shows up He has not showed up this year.
I literally check every day to see our hunting days if somebody's out there signed into it.
Yeah, and typically if there's someone out there, there's another guy that hunts.
It's a good spot that's overlooked.
Down all the way down towards out of that area.
Yeah.
And then I fucked up and I brought him one day.
Oh yeah, and I saw the monster.
He saw a deer. Now he's like, oh, my tree. I'm like,
we talked about it. That's right. Yeah.
So so I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This Saturday, that I will talk about it offline. I had an anniversary on a fucking deer that I'm hopeful he's gonna show up again.
Yeah,
on the 18th. Because if not, I'm leaving Monday. So then it's all y'all's.
See, yesterday was my anniversary for killing my big buck I killed in Georgia, and I was like, and I'm here and I can't go to Georgia. I tried to put in leave, but a lot of stuff going on. Division, change of commands. We got to be around kind of stuff.
Army.
But talking about that area and how I pick my spots, I really play the spurs, the draws, saddles, all that. I look for water areas because this time of the year with rut, if you hunt area that has water, bucks need water. Food source, they worry about
water
food,
as in like a creek, like where I was hunting Friday. There's water down there.
If you got standing water, we can't go put a freaking.
Can you not put a bucket?
I wonder. I've seen people do their little troughs out there and bury them, make them look natural and all that stuff. Just standing.
I haven't. I didn't know that.
Not here. I'm just saying, just out and about.
I just thought about putting a bucket in the middle, burying a bucket in the ground and letting the water collect in there, and that would become okay.
If it does and they find it, it's a watering hole at that point. But
it wouldn't be baiting, I don't think.
No, I don't think it's baiting. You just give them water. Like you can't gather a bunch of acorns out of your yard and throw out there and hunt.
No, that's different though. That's baiting. But water's water, and you can use decoys. I always thought decoys were illegal on Fort Bragg. Yeah.
No. I don't know if you can or not.
I think you can. I was told this year that you could by somebody that would know.
I'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Hall monitor will
let us know.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've used those pop-up decoys. The ones that 3D, and I've never been nothing but busted with them. Does it's always does will walk up to them and they'll blow and they'll stomp.
Everybody's scent control is a bitch.
Yeah.
Like so, if you don't scent control, obviously some people go out there. Greg Bishop, I think he smokes in his stand and then dropped a big ass deer.
Well, here's the thing though. If you climb 30 feet up in a tree, I'm telling you, and this is the way I started hunting. Okay, my father-in-law, he hunted. That's all he did was hunt, bass fish, and he built golf carts when he needed money. That's all he did for the last 40 years of his life. My ex-father-in-law. Well, he's dead, but he would climb 30 feet up in a tree and he'd smoke weed and he would chill. And he'd listen to John Boy and Billy because that was his favorite show. And then the deer would come out and he would tell me, like, because I smoked cigarettes at the time. And he was like, yeah, if you climb up 25, 30 feet in the morning especially, you're not going to smell it.
Oh, you got thermals.
And I've shot deer and I've seen deer and I've missed big deer while I've been smoking 25. And when you see them coming, you can stand up, you can look. So that's how I learned how to hunt, that style of hunting.
Well, I mean, I was raised, there's what you call a scent level. If you get above that scent level, you got to worry about it.
Depending on the pressure and the time of day, they're right. You know, usually high pressure, 30 pounds, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they call it, but when the barometric pressure is above 30 and it's morning time, it is. I've got milkweed. I throw it out. It goes up.
The thermals,
You know what I mean? So
that's when you want to hunt the bottom where they're traveling and trying to be hidden.
Yeah. But when I go to bow hunting, I'm doing the same fucking thing, and I've seen deer coming. I'm like, okay, here they come. Let me stand up. Where the fuck are they going? Like, what happened? How'd they see me? I'm 25 feet in the air, you know?
I had a buddy the other day. He was hunting, it was Croatan, just archery. He was out there, and he had his boy about 30 yards in a tree next to him. They were just kind of hunting in the same area. He had an 8-point walking in, and he's talking about, he's like, he'd already kind of thought, like, hey, he's about right here. So he's like, I'm going to check him with I forgot what you call that thing.
A rangefinder?
He rangefined him, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, man, that's 40 yards. I was going to try 30. So he's glad he did it. And he drew back, and he had the deer right behind a tree just waiting for it to walk out. And he watched, and he sat there for like 3 or 4 minutes, and nothing happened. So he dropped it and started leaning around. The deer was gone. Turns out that buck could clearly see his son. And, he was trying to figure out what happened. They got down later that night, and the son's like, he spotted me pulling my rangefinder out. He's like, you were 80 yards from me.
Yeah. It's crazy what they can see. And bow hunting
he said that deer just stood behind that tree and walked straight away. That's why when you said that he just kind of disappeared off into the distance, he had to have seen you move.
Yeah. But now, granted, the wind was blowing from the east that day, from the northeast, actually, and I was facing damn near due north. So it was blowing at a cross. So it was blowing right to him. But my scent control can't get any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just nothing. The only thing I can do is maybe not breathe out of my, because your breath, but you got body odor that you can't cover, your hair.
Well, you can layer it, and that's about what you
can't layer
your
breath.
Yeah, but you can cover your and I drink coffee, but my scent control is about as best that I can get it. I think that anybody can get it. And he was uphill, because I was on so he smelled me, but he didn't run, he didn't blow, he just kind of stood there. And I think, in hindsight, I think he saw me because I didn't see him. He could have been coming down that road for 10 minutes and looking around, and I'm fucking in a saddle, so I might be going like this, like, let me check my phone. He saw that, and by the time I turned around and seen him, he was already like, oh yeah, I see this motherfucker. What is that?
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't know what it was, but he saw something. So he stood there.
Brandon, let me ask you, you obviously have the eye in the sky, which is the ultimate scouting tool. Randy says cheating, but Randy will be all right.
He's one to talk.
Hey, he's one of my horizontal bow guys.
Yeah, and in fact, that last big buck that was taken on Bragg this week was shot by a crossbow. And it was the dude's third time hunting. Shout out to Otter, man. He got a nice buck.
And that just shows you how easy crossbows make hunting.
Great,
third time hunting and you kill a fucking stud?
Well, he could have had a rifle and killed the stud.
Exactly. Crossbow rifle.
He could have had a bow and killed the stud.
Congratulations. I'm just saying. I will say that just proves
that's about the only thing it makes easy. You're already cocked back.
You're pulling a trigger.
You shoot it. Yeah.
So I don't know if this is true, but Randy is tired of the bullshit.
What bullshit?
So he's gonna fucking get a bow.
He's gonna get a compound bow. Year. I mean,
I'm gonna leave him mine, and he's gonna take care of it. I was gonna try to ask Steve Randall to take care of it because he's really meticulous. But Randy said he'll take care of it, so he's gonna hunt with my bow. And so if he ends up killing a stud with a bow, then I'm not gonna be able to talk shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost don't want him to.
My reasoning for going to the crossbow, we were talking about it earlier. I was like, I've only been hunting Bragg for 2 years now.
Yeah.
I always just used to go back home to Georgia. I was like, I don't want to hunt Bragg. I don't want to register my guns.
Yeah.
And obviously they're already registered. I bought them at freaking Academy.
Yeah.
So I mean they're registered to anybody.
Yep. Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. Fort Bragg can know I had these at my house.
Buy them secondhand from somebody else. It's legal and you don't have to register.
I'll just lose them in a boating accident.
I've got a few secondhand weapons.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm missing out on some hunting. My buddy came to work one day and showed me this nice 8-point he killed, and I was like, man, you killed that here? He's like, yeah, with my bow. Yeah. He's like, I need to hunt. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go look around. I went to Dick's when it's still Cabela's there, and that's where I bought my crossbow.
Yeah.
And it was $600 after arrows and all that, $500 for the bow, and damn arrows and tips, $100-something.
Yeah.
But
bolts.
Yeah, bolts. Sorry, I can't compare myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna make sure you get it right. They ain't arrows.
But my brother, he's a big compound hunter. He don't give me shit about it. I mean, I'm putting meat in the freezer either way. But I was like, I got into it. The archery, just real inexpensive is what I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't go scouting. I didn't do anything. I just literally one morning I was like, I scouted this little spot. I was up on a ridge. It was 30-degree morning, real cold, and I walked out in the woods in the dark and fought the skinwalkers away and got up in a tree. And about an hour after sunlight, there come 4 does and a 4-point. Obviously, it's QDMA where I was hunting. Yeah. So I like to hunt the NTAs, so I couldn't touch the little buck, but shot my first doe. Second day I had a crossbow. I just bought my little climber stand too, a little Summit Viper, when I climbed a random tree and killed a deer, and I was hooked on Fort Bragg hunting. I was like, I put meat in the freezer. Yeah. First day, random ass tree.
It's very addictive. Now, I've shot crossbows, but in my opinion, I'm wondering if because you get arrow duck, you get the deer that react to the arrow, the sound of the arrow. I think it's a little bit quicker than a compound.
I got the
crossbow is quicker than a compound.
Quicker than a compound.
It's quicker. Mine's what you call a TS 380. It's got that 300, but if you measure it, it sits around 365.
Otter just tuned in. He said, thanks for the shout out. He's not getting a bow. He thinks it was the YouTube bleat. He had that bleat on YouTube.
That's illegal.
Oh yeah, Otter, by the way.
By the way.
Yeah.
We know you were just joking. We know you used the bleat can.
But I mean, like I said, my theory is hunting's hard. It's freaking hard. Regardless.
It is.
I don't
even hunting with a gun, finding a deer. Either you get lucky, but you can still be a good deer hunter with a rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a guy who kills a fucking beast with an arrow. Even before I bow hunted, you know what? Let me just put it this way.
Go next level. Why is BT compound bow hunters? I got friends that are now shooting recurves. And
yeah.
Do we have? Hey, that's a good question. I don't know if anyone listened. Do we have any? I've never seen a recurve hunter on.
BT
I've never heard anybody talk
recurve.
about it. I got some. My brothers had a recurve before. I've had a few friends hunting with recurve. That's the challenge, I guess you call it. Primitive.
See, why is Bennett known the way he is? Besides the fact that he's a super nice guy. But he's known as this fucking legendary stud killer. But why is he so respected for it? And I'll tell you why. It's a rhetorical question. Because he does it with a bow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So even when I was a gun hunter, I saw I'd see a guy come in. I saw a guy drag in 2 10-pointers one day. Gun. You know what I mean? And I didn't know him. He was an SF looking dude, so I wouldn't talk shit to him or nothing. Randy was making fun of the fucking little 4-pointer I had. But, I always just thought Bennett was cooler because he did that shit with a fucking bow.
Yeah.
And I knew it even before I bow hunted. So, you can't deny that. So,
I'm
just because I'm on there ego-ish and I'm talking shit, that's all for fun, but it just really is hard.
If you're hunting a fucking DZ and you drop a deer at 500 yards with your long-range rifle...
Yeah. But that's good. Yeah. No, anything over 300 yards with a rifle and a deer, that's a whole different level.
I've shot crossbows like I said, I've shot crossbows quite a bit, but even with a rifle, when I pull on a deer, I'm still not 100% confident in myself whether I'm going to hit or not, because I've had a couple horrible misses. My scope was off by 2 feet in Louisiana. I had the biggest deer walk to this day I've ever seen in my life, and I was facing this way down a Christmas tree farm break. Convinced that they were going to come down this line, and about 8 a.m, I was on my buddy's lease, and he hits me up. He's like, "Hey man, you see anything?" Right when he hit me up, because we had walkie-talkies, because you didn't get any reception out there. Yeah. You know how it used to be. Mm-hmm. This fucking stud just comes right out of the wood line, 10 feet from me, and I had a Weatherby 270. I was like, this hunt's done. I'm like, ooh, it's already over. But I aimed at him, and he looked up at me, and it was like that time when you got to pull the trigger, otherwise he's gonna spook. And sure enough, I pulled the trigger, and I thought I hit him, but I missed that joker by 2 feet because we searched for blood and everything, and he ran back in the woods. And I was thinking, man, I still get that with a bow though. When I pick up a bow and I actually draw on a deer, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going to hit that deer.
Yeah, Well, I mean, you got to think about the range and everything you're sitting in.
Yeah. But even he gives me shit, but there was a day where, and Randy was part of this too, I got fucking pissed because they were talking shit, and I was like, fuck y'all, I'm climbing right down right now, and I'm going out there, and I'm going to range it this morning, and I did, and it was what I thought. It was 57.5 yards, which is 60 yards. But, like, with a rifle...
Still questionable.
No, it was. But, it's weird because just naturally with a bow, I can...
35.
No, it was 57. I can look at something and know I'm going to hit it.
Yeah.
Like, I've not missed with a bow. The only thing I missed with a bow was a bobcat. And that's because that bobcat was quicker than my arrow.
I got a nice bobcat last year in Georgia.
Yeah. So I give respect.
I've shot 4 of them.
I give respect to crossbow hunters because, like I said, when I've shot a crossbow, I still have to sit there and I have to stay still. And it's like shooting a rifle. You got to do your breath control, your trigger squeeze.
Yeah,
it's like shooting a rifle.
I mean, you still got all the...
You don't. Here's the thing. You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got all that. It's like shooting a gun, but you've got a more stable platform. And if you're sitting down and you got your bow here and he's coming, you just. But with a compound, you've got to stand up, especially in a saddle.
That's the hardest part.
In a saddle, you got to be like, oh shit, he's coming this way. I got to fucking somehow. I've got to either seatbelt myself in this thing and turn around, or I've got to lean back with it, pull it over without him seeing me, and he's right there.
This goes back to the the CrossFitter type stuff. I'd say it's a niche bitch.
It is.
In a way. You're bitching about something, you put yourself in that situation.
Yeah. You're
That's
right.
why I like that stuff.
You are right. And if you're trying to fill the freezer, then you don't fucking grab a compound bow. It's more of a fucking sport.
No, dude. Jason said. First of all, we're talking about Bennett. He says because he's Bennett, period. But he said it's part of the Bragg guidelines that you got to respect Bennett. That's clause number 2A right there. Yeah, but no, if anyone who's watching doesn't know about BT, if you when you go into that wildlife place, and I mention every time, and you see those deer on the wall, Bennett shot pretty much all those deer. And he shot him in the same area, which is even cooler, with a bow.
But if you put Randy Wobble in that fucking situation, you hate his guts because Randy's a guy. He's a fucking hot dogger. Right now. I know. Randy's a guy. He calls me every fucking day. He sends me pictures of those bucks every day.
Like that picture, our video I sent you of that big buck. He's like, I know, I'm hunting that spot.
Yeah. He's bucked out, and he's still like, nah, I'm gonna go. We're chasing like the same big deer. He's like, I'm gonna kill him.
He was kind of close, but he's still about 600 yards off.
Yeah. He's not exactly. He said that the other day. He was like, I know exactly where that's at. And I said, yeah, that is, but it's not.
I'm sick. I still miss that deer.
But, he's the guy that is going to be like, hey, you see all those deer right there? I fucking shot him. What'd you shoot? Check out.
I mean, Michael Skipper proved that there's some big-ass deer right there.
Oh, there is.
Oh, yeah. But even he shot that with a gun. So, I'm just kidding. He normally shoots. He normally hunts with a bow. But.
I mean, I've when he talked about hunting open pines, a lot of people don't believe in that. Like they think they're coming out of the bottom. But my first big deer here, I killed a 9-point. I just went out and climbed a random tree in some open pines and was sitting there, and 200-something yards, I had a crossbow. I'm not going to drive 200 yards. I was like, good God, this dude is huge. Like, let him walk to me.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if he didn't walk around this big ridge and then just walk straight to me.
Yeah, they'll come straight up. Yeah.
Did you call or anything? Or
no.
You just were sitting still?
I've only recently started the grunt calls, and considering it's Bragg and a lot of people are always out there hunting, I'm not going to just sit there and grunt. Like, I might throw a little bleed out there every now and then right now, but I'm using the grunt call to, like, if I see one and he's walking away, I might hit a grunt, try to pull him in, or I got to throw a rattle. Or snort and wheeze is kind of my last little thing to try to pull him, because that's like saying your mother to him.
Yeah.
So
your mother.
You know, though,
they turn around real quick.
BT has just signed in, by the way. So
BT, what's up, BT? No, I've learned the hard way with calls. I don't use them. Like the other night, everybody's like, "Well, did you grunt at him?" I'm like, "The motherfucker, I'm open."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you where this spot's at, but. In front of me is nice and thick, but behind me is all fucking like oak trees that are like 6 feet tall and maybe a pine tree every 20 yards. It's wide open and there's tall grass. If I would have grunted at him, he would have looked up at me and been like, "Yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, I got you.
Bucks don't climb trees. I know that shit." And he would have took off. Mm-hmm. So if he did see me or he smelled me, he's like, "I don't know what it is. It's not right. I'm going to go the other way." Yeah. He's going to come back. You know what I mean? Eventually, maybe.
The hardest part about bow hunting is it's not even taking the shot. It's getting the in-between of seeing the deer, figuring out where you want to shoot him, estimating where he's going to go. And then the hardest part that makes or breaks you is getting in a position. Because I don't know a single hunter that's figured out exactly where the deer are going to come from yet. It happens sometimes. But every time I've been in a situation where I have a bow shot on a deer, it's always from the opposite side. Always. Never fails.
Always on my weak side.
Here lately, like, I mean, I'm right-handed, so this side is my prime side.
Right, your left side, yeah.
I would say probably the last 5 deer I've killed.
Yeah.
MFers just know to come this way. And I mean, everything I got set up, it's ambidextrous, so I mean, I can flip and shoot that way. I practice it. But
so I can't do that with a compound because I can't. I'm not
exactly
on my left hand pull. I'm just like, maybe I should try that. But
that's where the crossbow comes in.
Randy over here talking shit. 57.5. Yeah, round up. It's still 60. 55 and up. There we go. But he's gonna give me shit to the day.
It was 35.
No, it wasn't 35.
I'm the one that picked the arrow up.
My longest kill was at 9 point. I ranged it after I shot in about 45 yards.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a little.
Yeah, no, I've shot. I thought it was a doe. This was like 4 years ago. I thought it was a doe, and it turned out to be a button buck. I shot a fucking doe this year, like 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that I thought was a doe. And I looked at this deer for 20 minutes, and it was right after the podcast with Steve Randall, and he was like, "Just shoot him. It's good practice." I'm like, "All right, yeah."
Yeah.
That video I sent you that I killed a deer right before, and the little deer came walking out. I was like, "That's not a doe." I zoomed in with my scope. I had a gun that day.
Mm-hmm.
Little nubbins right on top.
Yeah.
But I was like, this has got to be a button buck. I mean,
I shot him, and I was like, there's no fucking spikes or nothing when I went down. And I saw another deer about 50 yards behind it. So I thought it was a group of does. This was before the rut, and I shot it. And as soon as it went down, I was talking to Randy, and he was like, $50, it's got nuts. I'm like, shit. And it did. It was a button buck.
Yep.
Tasted really good.
As far as having that bird's eye view, I get to have fun out there on the range.
Yeah.
I'll share some free cake. The biggest deer I've seen out there as far as like antlers, Salerno DZ.
Really?
I mean, there's a few zones around that. So I think one of them is actually a youth area sometimes. But
that's what I was going to ask you.
Biggest deer I've seen, and the most turkeys is right there around Salerno DZ.
Oh, the fuck! Until I go turkey hunting.
Yeah, I saw 2 big gobblers sitting on what was it, Friday morning, man. Damn, they were nice too. I always try to just see if I can practice my turkey calls. Tried to call them in. They came down the fire break. They stopped when I made a hen call with my mouth. I didn't have my calls on me, obviously. And they came up, and as soon as they saw me in my orange,
those things
fucking took off.
Those birds can see.
I'll
have one trotting out, and he'll look at me, and he'll just.
I talked to
if they could smell, you'd never fucking see a turkey ever.
When I first got into hunting, he said, think of like this. That turkey can they can freaking pinpoint a tick on a tree at 100 yards. That's how good their vision is.
Yeah.
So, what I was going to ask you though, in your experience, because I'm sure you've flown missions all above Bragg. Every area. Where would you say, based on your knowledge, the most concentration of deer that you've seen? Northwest, east, south, Bragg. I'd say northwest.
If I had to pick a spot that had the highest concentration, I'm going west.
West, yeah.
Especially big deer. Your bigger deer out towards McCall and all that. On camera, I've had more of the bigger bucks out that way. Now the NTAs, they got their fair share. They're few and far between, and they're extremely smart because there's a lot of dudes to hunt.
A lot of people, not just hunters, but a lot of recreational people, kids playing back there.
Every other day you see a dirt bike out there. I mean, the razors I don't get so mad about because there's a lot of people that got street legal razors might be just going out there to hunt.
Yeah.
But when they're in those crowd with the ATVs and the dirt bikes, then obviously they're just as bad as them.
Yeah.
But I would say bigger deer out west and concentration by what I see when I fly. I'm human. I'm always looking for deer when I'm flying out there.
Yeah.
I would be hell.
We fly under 200 foot out there and pretty much just snooping and pooping. Just looking around. Every time I come on a DZ, I'm looking out there trying to see a deer. If I got my nods down, I'm looking. But out west in that area, the most deer I've seen at one time was that one spot we talked about. I'm not going to share that spot.
That spot.
That's the secret.
But it's out west is where I've seen the biggest concentration.
Yeah. Now, another thing I was going to ask you, and obviously you guys don't spook them at all. Do you think
the only time they spook? Yeah, I mean, obviously we fly straight towards them real low.
Yeah,
like flying over them. I mean, they might spook just because the rotor noise or something. But we're shooting gunnery.
Yep.
I mean, they don't do anything. Like,
that tripped me out.
You can see them out in the field to the left if we're out there shooting.
They don't care.
They're just
Matter of fact, when you guys are shooting is when I see deer the most.
That's the best time to move, actually. I figured that out, man. Like, I'm sitting there trying to be quiet, and there's Chinooks flying over shooting 240s or the gunners or whatever. Yeah. I guess they shoot 240s out of those.
Listen, what's that? Chad Barret?
That's my brother.
Is it? He said big buck down is big buck down, regardless.
Yeah.
He said, sorry, little brother.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one, but I thought he was a bow hunter.
He does. He's a bow hunter. He's a compound guy.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He's got guns too.
He's a nice guy. He's like, hey, big buck down.
No, he's in Louisiana.
Oh, he's Louisiana. Nice, Chad, man. I'm envious of you. Get in Kisatchie, dude. I could actually put you on there's a freaking honey hole in there.
Yeah, we got some family who's got some prime hunting land.
I miss it.
He said never met any fat Indians.
Randy. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but did I miss that one?
No, he's talking about the Indians just bow hunt.
Oh, yeah. And they used to ground stock, and
it's this whole thing with the heated vest. I love these guys that always say, "Oh, we never needed that back in the day." I guarantee you, if I could travel back in time to 1947 when your grandpa was sitting out there freezing.
If I ever thought about a heated vest when I worked in the oil field, sitting up there in the derrick for him, working those 20-mile-an-hour winds and 30-degree weather, nah.
Shit.
Man,
we have
you didn't need it, but you want it if it was available.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Necessity versus want.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love it. Especially with the saddle.
Critter. He might say some weird stuff.
What's that?
He's a crazy critter.
Oh, it's all good, man. Like I said, anything goes on here.
Mm-hmm.
With the cold, man, like, shit. Nothing will ever top Korea. Korea's the coldest I've ever been in my life. So once you experience that,
Afghanistan was cold. Let me tell you, they told us before we went there that it was like the desert. Because we were young, we didn't know. We thought it was all
fucking 14,000
desert. And we landed in Bagram. This was 2002, January 2002, if I'm not mistaken. And it snowed for 2 weeks, and it was cold. And we were fucking out there. We went on this Operation Mongoose, which was. I mean, they made it sound like it was this big thing, but the worst part about it was the fact that we only had the green part of our fart sacks. So I don't know what they have now, but we used to have the Gore-Tex thing. We only had the green part,
the thin bag,
and that fucking whoopee that everybody swears is warm. It's a fucking liner. It's made to insulate.
Don't disrespect.
By itself, it's not a fucking warm thing. It's got to be layered.
I've had some situations in some schools I've been in that we had 2 nights that were 19 degrees and we were just stuck out in the woods. All I had was I was smart. We were able to pack a poncho liner and a whoopee. God's gift to the Army is the whoopee.
Yeah.
But so there's.
But you got to put the poncho over it for it to actually work.
Well, exactly. Well, it works. It's great. But this one guy, he forgot to pack anything. It was 19 degrees 2 nights in a row, and this guy's over freezing. I'm over here all warmed up in my little snuggie.
Yeah.
So I give him my whoopee because I know the poncho. You cover it up around, you seal it. Yeah, you're just gonna get warm because you're almost gonna start sweating.
Yeah.
But that's about the coldest I've ever been in my life. It was 19 degrees, but when you're stuck out there, you're soaking wet.
When you're sitting still, anytime you, especially in the military, all the comfort items, snivel gear is designed to keep you warm while moving.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop and sit, I think they did have a bear suit back in the day, the brown one that was real thick. I mean, now it's fleece. But. Maybe that was a little warm, but all I remember is having on the fucking Polypro and all the shit and just be freezing my dick off.
I went to basic up in Fort Sill, and it was during the winter.
And it's cold.
They used to make us they do a snivel gear check. Like if you had Polypro on before a ruck, for one, you get smoked with your ruck on, and then you'd have to go up and take it off. Yeah. Because single digits, it's out there snowing and ice everywhere, and going on a ruck, you want to be warm.
Yeah.
But they said they had people falling out and shit.
Yeah, well, as soon as the thing is, you don't realize when you're young. As soon as you get 10 minutes into it, you're fucking hot. It could be sweating. 0 degrees, you know what I mean? But that when you're standing around for 3 hours waiting to move.
Worst thing about here is, it's such bipolar weather. You get up there, it's freezing. In the morning, all of a sudden, by 9 a.m., it's 90 degrees.
Friday was literally summer morning. Mm-hmm. It felt like freaking May.
And then it got cold.
It got freezing.
And of course, I was up there with no long underwear on, just fucking, and then all of a sudden it got cold. That was the night I seen that buck.
Yeah.
That's probably what I was doing while you saw me. I was probably doing like this.
I'm serving my timer and I ain't been able to hunt Bragg in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got suspended.
Yeah. Friday I can get back out there.
Yeah. What happened? You just forget to sign in?
Well, I was out there and I didn't realize the time, and once I realized I had no service, and where I was at, I'm 10 minutes from hitting a road to have service. I mean, you can head down Rayford Vass or go out somewhere out west and pick it up. Well, from where I was...
Don't name no roads.
There's Longstreet.
Fine, he hunts in W. All right, everybody go to W.
I do hunt in W, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
W's nice.
The only thing about W, I was hunting there one day and I had a deer come through. I was like, yeah, this is a good spot. All of a sudden, I had about 3 paratroopers come walking up on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it just y'all or is there a company? He's like, company.
Go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
Who was it in Area K? We didn't know the National Guard was out there.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Hundreds of them.
I was out there hunting one day, out. I decided to go out to a random spot I'd never hunted before, and I didn't see the post about the Marines being in town. I swear I probably set up. I couldn't see them, but it sounded like them motherfuckers right next to me.
Shit, we were hunting out there one morning, and I was like, "What the hell is that noise?" And all of a sudden, I swear that sounds like Happy Birthday. And Randy was hunting like close by. He's like, "Yeah, I hear him too." They were singing Happy Birthday. I'm like, "Why the fuck is this spot open?" And it was a rifle day. It was one of them days where it was like, "Fucking, I'm tired. I'm going to go hunt with my rifle." And we went to the same area, and they were out there singing Happy Birthday. I didn't see shit that day.
Somebody has a birthday in the artillery world. I used to be, I was a supply guy for some artillery guys. They had a birthday. You round them up, and you duct tape them to the barrel and raise them up, and they're just sitting there like 10 or 12 feet in the air.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That sounds fun.
It's good times.
I was sitting out there about a month ago, and I didn't know. It was just quiet morning. There was nothing going on, and all of a sudden, boom! I was like, what the fuck? That's what happened to me. That's what I put on the fucking thing. What the fuck was that? Like, that shit was rattled my teeth.
I was sitting out there, and I heard the artillery. I knew it was artillery going off, but then all of a sudden I heard...
Yeah, you hear it fly over. Yeah, that. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I tell people what's scary is when they're landing real close to where you're hunting.
I was sitting on one spot, and it's near one of the, I wasn't in the impact, but it's near the impact. You all know what I'm talking about. But I asked Buddy it was that day when I went to go, prove a point. But I was like, hey, man, do you ever hear rounds just flying by? Like, are there rounds? I was like, have you ever heard bullets flying by into the impact area?
Those you're hearing acorns probably.
No, that shit sounded like, dude, that was rounds, dude.
Them HH and GG areas are always lit up some artillery guys.
Yeah.
Like NN they get in the woods there.
So if you do hunt, I mean, they're great areas. The impact zones, we all know the deer move there because they know they're safe. But if you hunt those skirting zones, just be mindful.
But Jonathan Holloway had a good point about everybody thinks you can't hunt the impact zone, so it's got to be and obviously the deer are there, and there's deer everywhere on Fort Bragg, but they don't. The coyote control is not. I don't think that they don't kill coyotes and trap coyotes in there, so the coyotes might wean out the deer population.
In my few hunts and cameras out in West, I have not yet to get a coyote on a camera. NTAs. Really? I mean, like every other day.
I've gotten coyotes on. I hunt, in my primary bow only areas on post. I got coyotes more than deer.
Well, you got to think Area K. A lot of guys that want to go into Area K because they hear about it and they know that Bennett hunts there.
Yeah. K is a crazy spot. There's some big stuff that walks through.
Yeah, there is, but there's also a lot of coyotes this time of year because the gut pile's right there.
Yeah,
and that draws in coyotes. You
can smell it from deep in K.
Yeah, so that's why I noticed. A couple of weeks ago, I was like, man, I was driving in, saw a coyote. While I was hunting, I saw a coyote.
There's one morning I killed a deer in the NTAs and was driving in, and there's probably 10 or 12 doe just sitting out there 200 yards in the woods from the gut pile.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they chilling. Obviously can't hunt that area.
Right, yeah.
But ton of deer in that area.
Not legally. Not supposed to.
We don't talk about legally.
And another thing, too, it's freaking chronic wasting week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which it's going for. I was going to put it out there for y'all listening. If you did submit a sample and you want to know where to find it, because this was just pointed out to me yesterday, actually. Actually, dude that pointed out was so excited he called me and was like, hey, man, so if you don't get it, the North Carolina hunting app, it's awesome, man. It makes, instead of calling that number and having to push buttons for 20 minutes, and if you screw up, having to do it all over again, you just go on the app, check in your deer. Super simple. Now, if you go into report a harvest and you scroll to the right, it says history of your tags, and it will pull up all the deer you've shot, and there's a section in there for your results. It might take 4 to 6 weeks, but if you're curious and wondering, they'll actually age your deer too. They'll officially age it. The biologist will. So if you're out there and you're wondering about your results, keep checking. It'll be on your harvest report, because I was really pissed because I waited 6 weeks, and my buddy actually looked it up because he's a wildlife guy. But I didn't even. It says check here for your results, and you log in, and it just takes you to your profile. And I was like, well, there's no place. It's confusing, but that's where it's at. It's under your harvest report, and you'll see the list of all the stuff, and it will say CWD results, and then it will say negative.
I gotcha.
But another thing too, if you do have a positive deer, they'll reach out to you. So for those of y'all that are worried about it, if you don't hear anything, no news is good news. But I just want to put that out there.
Who was that guy? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
You reminded me of a post that came out yesterday, the day before. The guy was like,
4.5-year-old. That's a 2.5.
No, the guy that said nobody cares how old your deer is. Well, yes, we do.
Talking on that conversation, I've been looking
is that Mark Cigar? I'm not downing on you, Mike Cigar, but that comment was kind of like,
a lot
really?
of people want to know the age.
That's kind of like that's part of the fucking flex.
And hunting clubs or anything like that. I was looking for some leases in Georgia back where my family's at, and there's this one lease available that says on there, can't kill any deer unless they're 5 years or older.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
gonna know?
Wow.
You're sitting here. I mean, yeah, your shooter bucks have to be at least 5 years old or older. And I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, am I just, when I look at them through the scope, am I judging their gut? I'm looking at their rack. I mean, I'm like, I think this deer's 5 years old. Obviously, you can see young deer. They're a little more flat across.
Yeah, but how do you tell the difference between 4 or 5 and 6? You know,
exactly.
Or 4?
When I read that, I was like, man, these are just a bunch of old farts that just don't want nobody to come hunt and kill their deer.
Yeah, or they just really want to shoot big deer, which is good, I guess. If it's my land and I don't want nobody shooting.
1,700 acres and it has 8.
Maybe they should put like an antler restriction, like 6 inches outside the ear. Now that's something you can guess at.
You can kind of guesstimate, but guesstimating the age is kind of rough.
So they are trapping in the impact areas. The bio guys were talking about the other night.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, Jason Forbes said that. That's that's a tough one.
Okay, Jonathan, you were wrong, making me look like a fool on live internet.
I mean, I've been out there just riding around scouting and looking, and I see trucks going to impact areas all the time, and I'm like, I hope that.
Well, they got to go back there. They got shit. I mean, just because it's an impact area, don't mean that's where rounds are landing.
It doesn't look like a gov vehicle, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Especially where we go, I see them all. They pass me all the time. Like they're going out there, and because I go right to the line.
Yeah.
But I've never had one of them stop me. I guess they kind of know, but.
Oh, they're out there. Someone who got stopped by the warden recently? Someone got hit.
Guillermo.
Yeah, Willie.
Willie got stopped.
So they're out there.
Tyler got pulled over. The damn game warden. So for all you guys that love authority and love being under the rule of law,
reporting dirt bikes and shit,
there have been game wardens out there pulling people over. So y'all should feel happy.
Those dirt bike guys riding out there, they can almost catch a felony.
Well, fuck the dirt bikes.
That's a criminal offense because you're. What's the word? You're inhibiting a hunter from a take, in a way of saying.
Yeah, hunter harassment.
Hunter harassment.
That's a law.
Yeah. That's what it covers under. But
but you know what? Here's what I don't like about everybody wants game wardens. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I've just grown up. I just don't like police. I like police, but I stay away from them. I'm not the guy that wants to walk up to a cop and be his friend. I'm just like, he's there. I'm going that way. If I hear the game wardens on Plank Road, I'm not doing nothing illegal. Just because I don't like. A game warden will just pull you over for no reason and just want to check your shit. That's assuming I'm guilty of something. I don't like it. Some people are like, yeah, man, here, massa, you check my shit. Yeah, hey, thanks for what you're doing. That's not me. So
that million candle.
So when I hear I'm too lazy to break the law. I'm like, not lugging 50 pounds of corn into the fucking woods. I'm too lazy for that. I'm not spotlighting because when it gets dark, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. People call me all the time, especially when I'm single. They're like, hey, let's go get a beer. I'm like, fool, it's 9:00. I'm already in bed. So I just don't like being pulled over for no reason. If I'm speeding, I'm the first guy to laugh at the cop. Hey, I was speeding. Give me a ticket.
That's the thing warrants will do. They'll do random checks.
They just pull you over for no reason. Yeah. I don't like that because now you're assuming I'm doing something wrong.
They're like that far-stretching arm of the law. They can.
They got a lot of power.
They can walk in your house looking.
So I have all the respect in the world for them. I would, if I was going to be any type of law enforcement, I'd want to be a game warden. Yeah. But I don't like authority over me, so that I'll just avoid them. But Guillermo got pulled over for no reason. He was legit.
There's that one guy
and he was let go. And some people would say, but he pulled over Tyler. Tyler was like looking, and he was made a left, he made a right, he was lost, and so he pulled him over, and then he let him. He didn't give him a ticket. Nice guy. I'm not saying that game wardens are assholes.
Dom Reloaded says it'd be nice if the club would stop begging police to be in the woods. Dorks.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Like I don't know why this. No. And it's mainly. It's mainly white people that like. Road. They like authority over them, like the rules.
I see these dirt bikes and everything coming in. Like if I hunt Croatan and I see these dirt bikes in there all the time, all these MPs have to do is set up on the fire breaks entering Croatan from Marks Road. Mm-hmm. I went into Lindsay Lake one day. We like to go fishing back there. I mean, you would have thought it was redneck paradise. There's, every toothless person you ever seen in your life out there on a float.
QQ too. Go out in QQ. I was out there one day hunting. They were having a fucking bonfire.
I got nothing against toothless people. I'm just saying, like they had 4-wheelers out there, all kinds of stuff, just having a great time. And I was like, well,
but see, that falls. Fishing here today, and again, this is where I won't say we have a beef, but we've had issues with the wildlife because people get on the page and they say, "Oh, wildlife needs to do their job," and then it makes it look like
they're just there for
it's not their job. That is like if you have that out there, you need to call the PMO. Now you call the PMO does nothing about it. But I guess what wildlife relayed to me was if if every day an officer comes in and checks a blotter report and get these calls, I'm like, so after maybe 3 weeks of getting calls all the time on this, what was done
maybe
about
I should
that?
Just sit right here.
Maybe we should do something about this. This is something that's going, but if you just assume that they're not going to do anything,
I think
then they never gets called and then no one pays attention.
I mean, one day somebody's just going to be out there riding and get hurt, and they're going to have to be a part of it. And it's
The
going to mess up hunting for a
ATVs
while.
and shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't. There's a lot of shit that goes down. There's a lot of shit talking, but honestly, the ATVs is the thing that fucks mostly everything up out there. I think.
I mean, I don't think the noise. Like sometimes they push a deer on you. That's good for me. If you push a deer to me, thank you. As far as noises go, dirt bikes get kind of loud. But the other day, I was just sitting there hunting, and this ugly ass. I mean, he was a 6-point originally, but he broke off one side, and you could tell. And I'm just videoing him and all this stuff, and I put my phone down, just watching him. Small game hunters.
Yeah,
we love them, we hate them. I hunt small game.
They have just as much right to be out there as we
are.
Yeah.
I was hunting real near this. I was hunting near this bottom area where there's some duck hunters, and I heard them early. Well, I'm talking about they fucking unloaded on some ducks, and this deer just looked up and then went back to eating some acorns.
Yeah.
And
I've watched deer and they're walking, and like I said, you can't throw a rock in Fort Bragg without hitting a fucking fire break. And I guess it was a Jeep, or not a what's the other one called, the Cherokee?
Bronco?
The Cherokee. What do they call XJs or something? And it come riding down, and the deer just fucking looked at it, and it passed, and it went back to doing what it was doing. Yeah. It's when you stop is when they're like, okay, something's fishy. So as long as they keep going, they don't really bother me, but it does get on my nerves. We were hunting one day. I think I was hunting with Randy again. Big surprise. And there was a dirt bike guy. It's the noise gets on my fucking nerves, kind of like your dog barking. I don't hate dogs. I hate the owners.
Yeah.
When your dog's yapping in the backyard, you should shut the fucking thing up. You know what I mean?
I keep a shock collar on mine. I don't shock them. I'll hit that beep. Mine are trained to the beep.
Yeah.
They'll shut up.
Yeah. But, I put it on the neighborhood app. What's that, Nextdoor? I'm like, if you live in this neighborhood and your dog is barking, shut that fucking thing up. People are trying to watch TV and sleep.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, like 5 minutes later, I heard the fucking door open and the dog go inside. Because you can't go knock on no one's door anymore.
Exactly.
Because
I think, like, there's some things on Bragg, like, for instance, the stupidest thing is, besides the 4-wheelers, people that jog, though. That's dumb.
Recently,
that is stupid.
I've seen more runners, like, I'll pull up to them like, hey, this whole area is being rifle hunted right now.
Yeah.
And this lady had 2 dogs with her running and was just running out there on a random road.
That is stupid. Yeah.
And then the other day on Fire Break, I mean, not the other day, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was just this group of runners out there running.
Yeah.
Like on a fire break.
I saw, I know the day you're talking about, but I was hunting near Chicken Road, and I could see down Chicken Road because I was hunting so close to it, and I heard the noise, but the noise is far off. You don't know what it is, and sometimes even like a helicopter, you don't know which way it's coming from until it's right above you. Yeah. You think you would, and this lady was running down Chicken Road, but through the fucking limbs and the brush, I saw the movement, and I got excited, and I'm gun hunting. So, of course, I'm going to put my scope on it. Now, Chicken Road, you can't shoot.
And they don't wear orange.
Yeah. No. And I just used my scope to see what it was. And then I was like, what the fuck? And then it sounded different. It didn't sound like a deer. And it was a lady jogging. Yeah. A soldier. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to guess she was an officer just by the way she looked. You know what I mean? But she's running down Chicken Road. And I'm like, you know how many guys would have fucking pulled the trigger on the goddamn movement?
I mean, you've heard in the news here lately, the guy got killed, somebody buckshot.
And they were hunting together, weren't they?
Yeah. They were in the same area hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, hunting club.
So I heard a theory about that. I don't want to say it on live air, but I've heard some rumor on the social media on that situation. But it's unfortunate regardless.
It is.
I've known a few people to get shot during hunting, and it's because somebody just shot through a bush.
It's you're playing with fire out there. Now,
it's not even shooting. Like, I'm not going to shoot unless I know it's a deer. I'm not going to shoot unless I know it's a deer I want to shoot. But I still have a loaded gun pointed at you because I'm using my scope to see what the fuck you are.
Let's say your safety. You've heard instances of Remington 700s having safety issues where the bolt pops off even when it's unsafe. So my biggest thing, like I always try to talk about this, if you're in the Army and you're a leader, or hell, even if you're a soldier and you hunt, a lot of the biggest thing is I've approached people jogging all the time. Most of the time they have no idea. Yeah. They don't put this stuff out at Bragg. Bragg is not informed to hunting. The only people that know about hunting on Bragg are people that pursue hunting.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, if we don't wear our orange, we might get suspended.
Right. But here's the thing. Each and every one of us that's in a unit whether you're a private listening or you're a freaking officer or you're an NCO, that Friday safety brief, hey, just step out and be like, when they say anyone else got anything, be like, hey guys, I hunt Bragg. Let your wives know, let your soldiers know, it's hunting season. It's not wise to be jogging in the training areas. You're not supposed, it's illegal, first of all, and I get it. Soldiers want to go out and do PT, they're going to do PT.
Yeah.
Especially in a lot of those areas like K.
Especially down, was that McKellar's Road that goes through LM?
We did it.
I was hunting Croatan not long ago, and there were kids out there playing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
That's common, because there's a neighborhood right there.
There was probably a 10-year-old kid running their trails. I was like.
There's a dirt bike track in QQ. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's ramps and everything, but
we got some.
Those kids have been playing in those woods their whole life. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, he's right. The best thing is stop bitching about it or stop hunting Bragg. And then Dom,
who's bitching about it? Who said that?
No, about
who said that?
Running.
Jason Forbes. Hey, youngin, I'll say what the fuck I want.
Hey, but no, Dom, I hunt with a Remington as well. But they have been known. I've had my fucking Remington go off on me when going through some brush. That's how the triggers are. Now, I was stupid. I wasn't. It was slung on my back, and I was trailing hogs. This is in Louisiana, but
don't slander.
We don't. Bitching about it's not going to solve it. But I'm just saying, like, you don't have to.
I don't. First of all, I don't like being told I'm bitching because I don't think we're bitching about this. We're conversating
or something. Different story. I'm not rucking fire breaks. I'm rucking main areas, especially during hunting season. Like I'm hunting. I'm going to ruck in areas that it's known to be rucking in.
It's as simple as this. Like I said, if you're a soldier, you have this power to do this. Just go out on this Friday when they give the safety brief. Just be like when first sergeant asks anyone got any, be like, yeah, hey, it's hunting season. It's illegal to PT on the fire breaks unless it's unit PT because that's the law. Period. But just let people know, hey, it's hunting season. If you're gonna jog, don't fucking jog, first of all. Just wait.
Yeah, I want to know how many of you active duty guys that are watching right now have ever done what because you get a safety brief every fucking Friday.
All my people know about hunting on Bragg because
we were just having this guy. He's been told to stop talking about it.
People can do whatever the hell they want. They have free will. But I'm just saying, like, it might just spread the word. Like, get out there and.
Well, I remember when I was in, they would always tell us. I didn't hunt back then, but I remember they would say all American trails closed. Don't be out there on all American Trail.
They do close.
They close it during hunting season. Now I didn't know why they closed it.
It's because of what happened.
And no, this is way before that happened.
Oh, okay.
This is that shit happened a couple years ago. I'm talking about 2003.
Out there, we got this thing called a range brief. I call that number, and it tells them where training's going on, what impact areas are hot, and all that kind of stuff.
You need to give me that info because I
don't know. Yeah. I mean, for next year.
Yeah, for next year because I'm out of here Monday. I got I can't hunt. I'm going to hunt tomorrow morning maybe, but I think I got like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I'm out of here Monday. You going to drive me to the airport?
Yeah, I got you, bro.
Okay, you got to be there at 5:30 in the morning.
I got you, man. I'll be there at 5.
Okay. We got to leave at 5:30, but
I mean, like I said, we can bitch all day. It's not going to change a thing. Yeah. But the thing that bothered me was, like I said, I've probably run into 10 people running. I don't know if they're being smart asses. One dude, I told him, I was like, look, bro, I know for a fact there's 6 people hunting in here right now, and you're wearing fucking brown, and you're running like a crazy man. You're just playing with fire. Yeah. Not every hunter is experienced where they can fucking make the decision not to shoot at something moving in the woods.
I just stopped and told him, hey, it's hunting area, it's active. Yeah. I'm just letting you know.
I pull up to a guy unloading it was after Christmas last year in Area K, and they were unloading dirt bikes. And I just pulled up to him. I said, are you unloading or are you loading up? And he said, we're unloading. I said, look, boss man, I ain't the law.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want. I'm just telling you that it's illegal to do what you're doing, and there are guys in here hunting, and I see your son's young. So you do what you want with that information.
Jason's got a good point.
He packed up, and he was like, thanks, man.
He says if we tell wildlife about those
don't tell wildlife. It's not their job.
They'll stop people hunting Bragg.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
Well, Buddy doesn't think so, but I think so.
No, they won't.
It's all right.
They won't. First of all, I want to send a shout out specifically to the garrison commander, since he combs this page every day. Like these people that think that he's combing the page every day, I would like to say, leave us a comment. That's cool, man. Big ups.
You're stalking us.
Like, you think he's ain't got better things to do with his time? He's running a whole post. He's a 06. I thought he was a general, but
yeah.
I almost made a post because I'm tired of people saying, like, first of all, we ain't doing nothing wrong.
No.
And if you do report people breaking the law, I don't think that they're going to stop hunting for them.
I mean, you're It's accountability.
That's the Army's easy way of dealing with shit.
Yeah, they just
unfortunately just nix it. Yeah.
What are they going to do with wildlife?
There's some crazy briefs out there.
What are they going to do with wildlife if they say, okay, you can't hunt on Fort? But what are they going to do with the money that gets funded for wildlife? What are they going to do with the people that have jobs? They think about all of this.
It's just going to get.
It's not like It's not like you hit a fucking switch and say, okay, no more hunting out there because of what? We had a guy get killed out there in a hunting accident. They shut it down for a few days because that's what you do. That's common sense. Yep. That's common sense. You've got hundreds of people out here, one accident. The fact that we don't have a lot of accidents is fucking very good.
That's good on the hunters.
That's good on wildlife. That's good on the what do you call it? Any type of law enforcement or rule enforcement, and that's good on the hunters. So the fact that we don't have at least 5 people dying every year.
The system out here, it's actually a really good system. Like Lejeune, they talk about it all the time. They hate it because it's not a good setup. Fort Polk, they don't have the different areas you can sign out. When the box is hot, you can't hunt a huge
you can't hunt the box at all.
It's the system they have here at Bragg.
It's great.
It's perfect. Like,
I think
can't get any better.
The fact that we're bitching, that we're complaining about civilians jogging down the fire break, that shows you right there.
I'm just like, hey, just letting you know, don't get fucking hurt.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the thing.
Run a deer up on me.
I'm not bitching about it. Is complaining that they're not doing anything about it. I don't care. Yeah. It's not my job. Fine. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't.
Just putting knowledge out there for people to take it and do whatever the hell they want with it. But just like I said. The more, if you talk about it in safety brief, it'll get spread. It'll get spread to dependents. People will know, and maybe it will cut down on it. That's all.
Yeah, I think that you active duty guys. I mean, I know they started that like whenever I was in. We used to get a safety brief every now and then,
Friday,
and then all of a sudden it became every Friday. I'm like, what the hell are we? We used to get it before leave. Mm-hmm. They would say, okay, don't beat your wife, no anal sex and all that shit, all the bullshit.
Don't subtract, don't add, don't multiply.
And then all of a sudden, every NCO had to, from E7 down, had to go to hey, call me if you are drinking. And I'm like, when did this start? It started while I was in, unless they were doing it somewhere else.
We had one guy. Every brief started. It's great.
So there you go, youngins. If you want to shine and you want to kiss the first sergeant's ass and make points, be like, hey, by the way, guys, be a hall monitor.
Now our safety briefs come out in text.
Really?
Yeah, that's
generally it's a message like that.
Do you have to respond to make? Because what if you say, well, I didn't get the text?
I mean, if you acknowledge it, but. Sometimes we have formation. It just depends on what's going on.
But you're in a different part of the Army, though. You're like in the big boy. Cool you're in the fucking adult part of the Army.
Cool guy. I mean,
there's guys out there that are you're flying fucking Apaches. That's like the fighter pilot equivalent of a helicopter.
Like I said, we're all tactical janitors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. True.
But you walk around with the sunglasses on the head. Let a fucking young 11 Bravo try that shit.
I walk around fucked up sometimes just to wait for an NCO to say something.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Yeah. Don't he look? You ever watch Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
Don't he look like Dick Winters' homeboy?
Nixon.
Yeah. He looks like Nixon. That's the first thing he said when he walked out of his truck. He said, "You look like the guy from fucking Band of Brothers."
Yeah. It's all good, man. But no, for real. Like, shout out to all the hunters on Bragg because they do a good job, man. Another thing that's really awesome too. I appreciate this. People help each other out big time. Like I got stuck a couple weeks ago. A dude came within 30 minutes, had me out. He did it for free. He was super cool. If you're listening, Peyton, fucking awesome dude. I tried to return the favor. Dude got stuck out, and I went out, and we still had time to get up in a tree. So we got a good thing going on, man. We got a weird echo. What just happened?
Oh, wait a minute. Because I don't know why we haven't been charging. We're only at 9%. Well, we're already at an hour and a half anyway.
But, man, just take care of each other, man. That's the bottom line. And if you can pass something on, don't be a dick. Pass it on, to help someone out.
I was out there before hunting season. My son's 14, so he's getting ready to drive. So I let him drive a firebreak or two, to get ready. We just went by a fishing pond one day, and this kid, 2500 HD, done sunk that heavy bitch in some mud.
You sure that wasn't Tyler?
No, I don't know.
Was it a black one?
It was a young fellow.
Was it a black FX4? Squatted? I think he's even got that thing squatted in the back.
Fire engine red, 2500 HD. I mean, if he's on here, it's cool, but I mean, I 100%. I'm on those. I'm stuck. Come pull me out pages and stuff. I just got a damn F-150 4-wheel drive.
He had to call for that 2 weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
See, I'm one of those guys. When I scout, I'm going to places I don't see tire tracks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put myself in a situation where I'm either going to fuck up my 21 or I'm going to have to call somebody to pull me out.
Yeah.
And been in a few of those situations, but I mean, I got 4-wheel drive, so I've been able to push myself through on some of them.
I mean, I hunted Bragg for 3 or 4 years with 2-wheel drive, and I never got stuck.
Oh man,
I had a minivan when I first started hunting Bragg. You want to talk about walking in, bro? I think one time I got balls and finally drove down a fire break, and like it got sketchy real quick. But
I mean, the other day I was driving down a fire break and just a little standing water. I was like, oh, just 5-foot puddle. That wasn't a 5-foot puddle.
Yeah.
I literally, it stopped me with my 2-wheel drive. I had to put it in 4 low just to even think about crawling out of that area.
Yeah. So the big elephant on everyone's table is bow for the next week. I mean, it's the prime week. This is normal at Bragg. If you're new to hunting Bragg, post cleanup every year.
Yeah.
Usually it's a little bit later. Usually, I think they wait till like right before block leave. But this is the good time to hunt. First of all, it's archery, so it cuts down on a lot of people hunting.
Yeah.
But
it's a chance for you guys that don't bow hunt to
try it out.
Level up. Level up. That's all.
Get you a crossbow.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But get out there still, man. And then another thing too is like when as the holidays approach, if you block leave, the training really comes to a halt. That's prime time to get out in the woods as well.
And this is the week too, man. I'm gonna tell you, everybody, we do this every year, especially the guys like us that go every fucking day. I think I have hunted every open day since September 9th.
I don't think you missed a day this year, did you?
I think I missed one.
I missed it.
I missed one day.
I've been double suspended this year already.
What did I miss that day for?
Was it
that was me last year.
The first suspension, they started that texting system.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. That with the money they get, that could be automatic and easy.
Yeah.
But I got that text. And I was like, oh shit, sign out. Next day I went hunting. I was like, oh, I got a text. I'm not setting my alarm. No text.
Yeah.
Always set that. That's always when you don't. Always set that alarm. And
I haven't forgot to sign in one time this year.
I know it's a pain in the ass, but check this out, dude. For those of you that hunted here when you had to manually, you had to stop and drive to make sign-in. So you could be an hour from the nearest checkpoint. Yeah. Imagine that. So we've got a good thing going.
Yeah. It's great. I've got nothing against it. The only thing I think is crazy, if they're going to go through the trouble to type you a message and send it to your account that you're not signing out on, obviously.
Yeah.
That automated system can get a little more...
Yeah, I think that they really need to.
Agreed.
I really think that, and this is a gripe, and I'll say it on air, and I don't care. I really think that if you don't sign in, somebody should come looking for you. Because isn't that the point?
Well, they do.
Isn't that the reason that they don't come looking for you?
They'll call you. They'll call you.
Yeah, but but here's what they have called me.
I've checked mine 2 days later after not.
No, they have called me 3 times, but I didn't recognize.
They might have, yeah. That's a good point.
I didn't recognize the number. If I don't know who's calling me, I don't answer, and if there's no voicemail, I don't fucking call them back.
It was a no number call.
Yeah, they called you,
and it was probably 10 minutes.
But you didn't answer, so you could be out there hanging upside down or getting your asshole ate out by a fucking coyote, and
that's where they start.
And they used to do it. That was the whole point, and that's kind of the danger of not. You could, not that. They say if you're signed out in the area and you're not signed back in, it's a danger that you're out there. Well, I want someone to. So what I do now is if I'm hunting where I ain't got service, I will tell Randy where I'm at because he'll know the spot, and then I'll tell my old lady if I don't fucking show up, call Randy. He knows exactly where I'm at.
25 up a tree, I've got that one dot. I'm signing out before I get out of the tree.
I think I was telling you about this. I was out in an area where there's nothing, like it's SO, and I even been out there a couple times now, and there's no service, and you're not going to get service till you're like 5 miles away.
Yeah.
But I was out there with my son, and I was thinking, I was like, well, worst case scenario is like he's 9, he's small, he's scared of the woods. Let's say I have a fucking stroke or something. And he can't call 911. So what I did was I got him on and I taught him how to just read grids. And I'm like, well, if anything happens, and it scared him, but he's prepared for it now. And I'm like, at least you can still make emergency calls. All you need to do is get out on the fire break, call 911, and give them this coordinate, and they'll come in.
He probably freaked little man out.
Oh, he's tough.
A lot of the newer phones nowadays, they have that SOS.
SOS.
You see that little satellite on there.
Yeah.
So you can make a satellite call on a lot of the new phones these days. So
another thing, too, I noticed is if you shoot one, they'll usually call you, make sure you got blood. Because that's a good thing about wildlife. Like it says, definitely squatted. I guess he's talking about.
No, go ahead.
But he says, it says, they give you ample time to scout, but they're pretty lenient. If you shoot one, you got good blood, and you might be out there for another hour. They'll work with you. Yeah. I've only had one instance where, and it was like 9:30 at night, where we found one and there was nobody else there. But I can't blame these guys. They're busy.
Yeah.
Especially now with the rut. Like, oh, another thing too, man. Like, it's been pretty good harvest this year compared to last year. We've had 2 solid weekends in a row. I think the deer count for...
He said harvest.
Well,
he did it on purpose.
Yeah, he hates that word.
I hate it.
I think it was 72 deer harvest or killed the first weekend of the rut, and I think last Sunday was a good day as well. There was a lot of bucks coming in.
Goddamn gun hunters, man.
Yeah, I can't hate on them. They put meat in the freezer, man. Exactly. It's like all the hate from
just
gun to crossbow to bow.
If you're gonna gun hunt, just shoot scrubs. If you're meat hunting, don't shoot the nice ones, man. I'm just kidding.
Shoot whatever you want.
There's been some really nice deer coming in, man. And, and old boy that on his 3rd hunt that shot it with a crossbow. That I don't give a fuck if you're hunting with a claymore. That was a nice deer.
That was a killer deer.
I mean, a lot of these guys, some of them talk about. There's a few people who've been on the page lately. It's like, I've never hunted. I'm looking for some help, or I've hunted once or twice and hardly killed deer. They just getting into it. A lot of people just kill whatever walks.
Yeah.
But
I was the same way.
Those guys see one of those big 8s or big 10s and they shoot it.
Yeah.
That changes their whole world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
they're like, I want this again.
Yeah.
Honestly, just being real, I don't care what you do, gun hunt, all that. It's just, it's more for like, it gives you something to I don't know. I'm a shit talker.
Yeah, if you can't shit talk, is it no fun?
Then it's no fun in it. And if you're going to be one of those guys that's just like, well, I just want to be friendly, I'm like, then we're not cool. I just like to talk shit. It's all in fun. But hunting with a fucking compound bow is harder.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So. Are you gonna try it out?
I'm buying one next year.
You buying one next year?
I want to know if Randy's really going to do it. Randy said he's
going to do it. I mean, my brothers gave me a few things I should go buy and look at, so I might just go down there and steal his. He's a big old boy.
You should have told me. I had one. I would have given you, man. But old Nick's going to come up.
We got the tail has come back to haunt the chat. The old tail shooter, Logan, the buck tail.
That's awesome.
That was funny, Logan. But I kind of feel sorry for that fucking deer, bro.
I know. Well, be all right.
I understand buck fever. I've been there.
So have I. I still get it.
I had a single barrel 12 gauge when I was probably 13, hunting down Tremont Bottom, Louisiana, back on the back corner of our land, and I had a box full of double-aught buck in my pocket. And these deer, obviously, I wasn't hitting them or nothing. I shot all 5 shells at them, double-aught buck, and I'm sitting here. My dad's trying he came running through the woods like, what's going on? I shot that 12 gauge 5 times. Not a single hit. Like, all the trees were peppered with buckshot.
Fucking buckshot?
Yeah.
God damn, son.
Dude, he came to, I was like, there's so many of them. I was just I couldn't hit them.
I feel bad now. I didn't used to give a shit, but now when I can't remember the last time I boogered a deer up, but I feel bad if I can't find
deer,
one
that I couldn't find when I got the dog.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we walked 6 miles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There was a guy.
The most scouting I've ever done. And I found some great hunts.
There was a guy Sunday. He was bow hunting. He texted me too, and I can't remember your name, guy. If you're watching, he shot a fucking massive deer I think he took like a 45, 50-yard shot, and he hit the deer, had blood, but it didn't die, and he got a dog out the next day. Dog tracked the deer down, deer's still alive, almost killed the dog.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking attacked the damn dog, so. But he was telling me about it, and he generally felt bad about this, I'm like, man, if it's bow hunting, it happens, but I get it,
You're in the moment. Obviously, you got to think about ethical shots.
Yeah.
Like, 50-yard shot, especially if you ranged it out, and I mean, everybody practices it.
Yeah.
With my crossbow, I practice the 60. I'm never going to take a 60. I want to kill the deer, and I want to find out. I've missed a lot.
Yeah.
This year alone, I've killed, between Georgia and here, I've killed 6 deer. And the opening day, walking in, a deer standing there. I shot at it, missed. Got in the stand, 30 minutes later, another one walked out, shot it, killed it.
Yeah.
Came back for a lunch hunt, same day, opening day. Missed a deer, 30 minutes later, deer came out, shot it. 2 deer first day, and I missed 2, shot 2. I didn't hunt the rest of the weekend. I was like, that's already, I want to beat turkey. That was $260.
I haven't shot but once this year, and I killed that baby buck thinking it was a doe. But I've let a lot walk this year, and I tell you what, that helps with your deer fever. I don't get buck fever. I used to get deer fever.
Fill those doe tags.
I see a deer on the side of the damn road, and I get excited. But now I've let so many walk. I had a doe like right below my tree, and then that little buck, and you get to kind of see where they're going, and it helps. So yesterday, or not yesterday, when was the last day we could hunt? Sunday. I had a big body. I saw this big body deer behind me, and I got so excited. I got all set up, and I'm ready to go. And he came through the little scrub oaks, and he kind of lifted his head up, and it was only like a 6-pointer. I mean, I posted a picture. He wasn't outside the ears. He was pretty tall, but big body. And I had him dead to rights. I didn't draw, but I was like this, and he kind of looked at me and was like sniffing in the air. He looked at me like, "Hey man, what's up? You see any of them hoes out here?" You know. And he kept on walking. He wasn't stopping to eat or nothing. He had his nose in the air. But I did not at that point. When I thought it was going to be a big deer, I was not jumpy.
Yeah,
I was like focused, like dialed in. Now, after I would have shot, I'm sure I would have been. That's what you want.
The jumpiest I get, or the biggest fever I get, I guess. I go in like I like to. I'm a darkness. I like to walk in there. Some people are gray light. It depends on if it's a new area. But
big debate on that. But
it's to each his own. Like I'm weird. Like if I hunt a new area,
pros walk in at pink light. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, you can walk in whenever. I could walk in at 9.
Pros scout from the air. He's got it figured out.
He's cheating.
He can't see
my hard-earned tax dollars. That's what Randy was saying.
What were we saying? Though your taxes. Yeah.
But where was I on that?
Walking in the dark.
Walking in the dark.
Yeah. So. I tend to walk in the dark just because I like to get in the tree and sit there and watch the sunrise and all that stuff. But I've done the gray light. I've done walking in at like 8 a.m. I like midday hunts. I'll go in at 10 o'clock, kill a deer at 12, and walk out. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it just all depends. I follow the moon sometimes. Obviously, science, it doesn't matter. Biologists tell you all day they put a tracker on them, and the moon does nothing. They've tracked it, studied it, all that stuff. But I still use it. Yeah. I look up that stuff.
It's kind of like counting cards in blackjack.
You think, yeah.
It's not, if you know how to count cards, which I don't because I'm stupid, but if you know how to count cards in blackjack, it's not a sure thing, but it puts the odds in your favor. Yeah. So I just like to put the odds in my favor. And when I do see deer, it's always in the fucking minor or the major feeding times, regardless, rut or not.
Now, a lot of people they're like, we're not seeing deer, we're not doing this, where'd all the big bucks going? The most expensive thing to get a big deer is time.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said it on the show, you just got to get out there and scout and walk.
Yeah, you got to walk.
The more time you spend, the more chance you get to kill that deer.
I asked one guy, he was saying that he couldn't find deer, and obviously I'm not going to tell you where I hunt because that's where I hunt. But I'm like, go say, what are you hunting around? Go find a scrape. Well, I ain't found no scrape. Well, that's your fucking problem.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to find at least a scrape or a rub or something. That's where you're
going to. I'm very helpful. Like, I got a couple of buddies. We just talk on Facebook Messenger sometimes. I'm like, hey, man, I got a spot. It's got a lot of meat in it. Yeah. If you're looking for a big deer, I ain't got big deer on camera, but you're going to get meat if you come sit this tree.
Right, yeah.
And so I'll invite him over to put some meat in the freezer.
Some guys, like with what's his name? Garrett Citrano. I put him on the when I leave, he'll be filling my shoes in that spot that we like out there. Because he tries. I mean, he has been on it all year, and he's saddle and he's bow, and he's doing everything right. It's just the luck hadn't been in his favor. So I was like, maybe you need to jump up. I will. So if you're listening, Garrett, you need to hit him up because he hunts that same area back there.
Randy says, "Buddy, thanks you for getting him out of a tree, Brennan. That one flew over me. What happened there?" Randy, clarify from the chat. Yeah.
I don't know. Randy sometimes
Ellie
says some
and Mystery.
weird shit.
Welcome to the cast. I haven't seen you on here before. Today, 10:30. Watch the 8-point running. Yes. Last 2 weeks I've been out. The most activity I've seen is between 9 and 2 p.m.
So all the chasing on cameras I've had, the NTAs are going wild right now.
Yeah.
But what's funny about that chasing, it's all spikes.
Mm-hmm. The big ones ain't chasing yet. That's what I'm going to say.
I've seen a couple mature bucks come through. They're eating acorns. Yeah. The younger spikes, the little 4 and 6 points, they're chasing hard.
That's going to change this week.
Out there, I just had in our spot, I had 4 doe walking. And they probably weren't walking because that camera took a picture at 5:15, 5:16. They were running. There was something you could tell sniffing the ground behind them.
Yeah.
They ran through the camera too quick. Yeah. So I feel like a little chasing's going on out in our area.
I had a doe come in last night being chased because she had her tail up and she stopped and chilled out and looked around on my camera. But yeah, all
I've had out there in that spot is tending. Like the doe was walking, and there was only a 6-pointer, maybe a small 8.
Yeah.
And he was about 40, 50 yards behind her, and he was zigzagging. And at one point, he walked by my stand, and then the next day when I don't know if it was the same deer, but it looked like a 4-pointer at this point. She got, 30 yards from my tree, and I saw the buck coming, and I saw antlers, so I didn't really know. I'm going to draw on them. That's one. Who gave me that advice? Maybe Garrett. Just draw on them even if you're not going to shoot them. It's good for practice.
Yeah, get that nerve.
So I reached up to grab the bow, and I looked back at her, and she was looking right at me.
I would have shot the shit out of her if she flew.
If I had a gun, maybe, but I had to turn around. So I froze, and she looked back, and then she looked back up, and she didn't do anything, but she did put her tail up. And then I watched her, and then she put the tail down, and she walked off. When I went to see the buck, he was gone. So she let him know, like, I don't know what's going on over here, but something's not right. And she didn't run. She kept walking. Yeah. But he was like, yeah, that's enough for me to go. So thank God that was not a buck that I wanted to shoot. Because I would have been like, motherfucker.
That's Camo Ken, L.I.M. Mystery. That's Ken.
Okay.
Camo, yeah, he's on. Brandon, so you've been hunting, how many years?
What up, Ken?
You've been hunting since you were a little kid, right?
Yeah, since I was a little kid.
So I want to ask you your opinion on this. I just thought about this. It's not really important.
I'm going to take a pee break.
Vocalizations of deer around here now compared to Georgia and here, I've only heard 2 deer vocal with grunting.
Yeah. Now that's funny you talk about that. They literally probably the second time I've ever heard a deer vocalize was I was hunting in the NTAs the other day. Mm-hmm. Well, actually it's been about 3 weeks ago. They had started chasing. There's 3. I keep forgetting I've been suspended for 2 weeks. So when I say the other day, that means when I was able to hunt.
Yep.
But so there's these 3 does came running up, and I actually shot one of them and had the blood trail. That's when I had to get the dog. Mm-hmm. But I'd seen the buck coming up the hills. Just had a big 2 points and 1 spike. And so the NTA's QDMA, I can't shoot him anyways. And I don't believe in like cold deer, and it's just meat. But he came running up through chasing these deer. That one that I shot kind of trotted off. I was trying to watch her, but the other 2 just stayed running circles around me. Like he's trying his best to get one of them, and I could hear him grunt. Like I tried to grunt him, like they get a little distance. I tried to grunt. The does just came running back behind. That's the only reason it came out. But I could hear him grunting, chasing them. Mm-hmm. That's the only vocalization I ever heard out of a buck, other than one snorted one time and stomped, and then took off.
Yeah, I mean, I had that big boy snort on me, but I've never heard a big that one that grunted too. He was a young buck. It's mostly the spikes.
Yeah,
the spikes here. They're it's almost unfair to kill them, I think, because they're not stupid, but they're so curious. They're gonna come in.
The mature buck was the one that like snorted at me one time.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he knew what I was. He might have just been snorting, thinking it was another buck.
Right,
but
just like a contact.
As far as vocalization, that's why I've just recently got into calls and grunts. I'll only grunt. Like I believe in pressured deer versus unpressured deer. I'll grunt if I see the buck to get their attention. Like I told him the story. There was a big deer. Like I was hunting the wrong tree, and at 9 a.m. the deer I've been hunting was at my main spot. So I shot over there. He was like, "Man, get in there." Talking about that phase. So I was driving in there, and I was like, "All right." I parked on the way away because it's daylight. I'm like, I'm not trying to like stay near. So I parked on the fire break. I got out of my truck. I take a piss. I get my bow and my stuff out and get set up. I'm about to get in the woods quick. I look up and I see a deer running down the same fire break I'm on. Probably 200 yards down there. I pick up I have a crossbow.
Yeah, we know.
So I put my scope on it, and it's all of a sudden he hit the sun, and it's that buck that was on the camera. So I hit the ground, like everybody's heard the words incoming, you hit the ground.
Yeah.
So I hit the ground, and I was like, wait, I got my grunt. I grunted. He came trotting towards me. So I crawled over to the woods, thinking he's just going to run straight down the road, put my sights right on the road, thinking he's going to run right by it. And it's been like a minute. I guess he stopped. I look, I see him still coming, so I jump back down. A couple seconds later, I hear something to the woods on my side. I'm like, oh, he's going to come to this opening, trying to get around on me. So I turned and was aimed that way and popped up 10 foot to my right on the road where I should have stayed.
Damn.
And
10 feet from a deer that's pissed off.
Yeah, he was really like, he could have fucked me up.
Yeah.
But as soon as I turned, he took off.
Donald Hutchinson's got a question on it. Don's an old school Bragg hunter. Mm-hmm. He said, what do you think about making all the archery only areas QDM and need to be outside the ears and at least an 8 or better?
I think that all of Fort Bragg should be QDMA.
I think they should do that for a year or two.
I feel like
it should be like that forever.
QDMA should be the entire. If it's an archery only, I
think all of Bragg.
I like the spread 15 inches or whatever. I think that's one of the things, but I think 4 points on each side should be good. That would only make
4 points on each side's too big.
Yeah,
like maybe 3.
Keep 3 on the side, but make your spread bigger.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. I think even the QDMA is too small because the one that he killed would have passed QDMA.
You can kill a 6 point that's like this.
Yeah,
that thing was.
I think it should be 4 inches 4 inches outside the ears, and I don't care 2 on each side, 3 on each side, but
you'd be taking a whole lot more mature bucks. But
we want mature bucks.
On some of them
you know what I'm saying? Every hunter, even the fucking meat hunter, even the guy that's like, oh, you can't eat the antler. We've all heard it. He still gets fucking psyched out when he still mounts deer when he kills it.
Yeah. Bennett says amen to that. Don says,
word.
I agree. It should be either sex. QDMA, 1 doe per hunter in those areas. Now, is that per day or is that per season in the QDMA areas?
That's per day.
If they made, I think
the doe population's pretty high here.
You can't kill two. On Bragg, you can kill.
Does are the most important.
You can kill 2 bucks.
The rut, at least. Yeah.
You can kill a buck and a doe, but you can't kill 2 does in one day. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I think, honestly,
I wish they would let you kill all the doe in one day. That way, these guys that want to shoot everything would just go ahead and tag the fuck out on does.
I think that's, I've been hunting Bragg now since 2018, and I think that would be a good idea to have at least a couple seasons of QDMA.
Why would you not? My question is this. Okay, fair enough. You say that we should do it for a couple of seasons. Why would you not want antler restrictions? What would be the reason for that? Give me a justification on why you wouldn't want antler restrictions. I know a guy right now listening that I can tell you exactly why he don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Because he fills his fucking freezer. He's already done.
So Don says per year, 1 doe per year in the archery only areas. If they did that QDMA,
we'd have a.
That's a little much. Yeah, I think
it'd be overrun too bad. You'd invite more predators in because there'd be more deer there for them to hunt. So it's. You got to have some control.
I don't know,
there,
Don. Maybe you should have came on the podcast one of these times because he used to run the QDMA, so he would be a guy that would have the information.
I would.
We'll get you on remotely.
I literally would make QDMA for the entire, do it 1 year on, 1 year off. 1 year QDMA, you got to kill a 6
I think the archery areas is good. Because most deer that I've shot or seen in the archery areas.
Most of the people hunt with guns, so you'd want the antler restrictions. Matter of fact, if I was going to not have antler restrictions, it would be archery only. Compound bow, you can kill whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you're hunting with a gun,
that's another thing. You're hunting with bow, you're already. I guess at a disadvantage for distance.
You're at a disadvantage because it's harder.
Yeah. It's just. Yeah. So I think QDMA would be great if you did it year in, year out.
I look at a guy that kills a 4. If you kill a 4, if we're all in the skin shack and you come in and you've killed a 4-point or a 6-pointer, scrubby little buck with a bow, and you're sitting there with a 10-pointer with your gun, you got a nicer deer, no doubt, but you get more respect because you shot that motherfucker. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
respect has nothing to do with biology,
I'm only talking. I look at things I look at things differently. I don't know about the biology. I just look at cool points.
I've recently done a lot of reading into it and listening to podcasts talking about your genetics. People talk about cold deer. There's really no such thing as a cold deer.
No, there's not. Yeah.
That just genetics.
Because Jonathan
drink a lot of water today.
Jonathan Holloway was. I don't know if he meant to say. I don't know if he meant to say it the way I interpreted it. He said that the doe carries the genetics. What I read today was the doe and the bucks carry the genetics. So it doesn't matter if you kill a buck. We think about it like a human. If your dad is fucking burly and hairy and big manly,
if the bucks didn't carry the genetics, you wouldn't have these high fence places that are selling huge deer, $50,000 for their sperm to go inject your doe.
Yeah.
Obviously doe are a big portion of it.
Right.
There would be no.
So I look at it like if you see a deer that's got this big, he's already mature. He's 3.5 years old, or he's 3 years old, and he's got 2 on one side and 4 on the other. Go ahead and kill him.
It's
because is he going to produce now? Can him and another doe produce?
Could just been
a perfect rack.
Maybe in velvet they could have injured it or something.
But that's the justification. It's kind of like go ahead and take. Or if he's a fucking, he's a spike, but he's a big cow horn. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He's never going to branch out. Go ahead and take him.
There was one like that in Croatan last year. I called him El Diablo.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
There's one. Matter of fact, the one that I saw Sunday. I think he was older. He wasn't a young. He was a big bodied deer, and
there's one in our area that's pretty big.
Yeah, he's like that long. I think he's older. I don't think he's
our area, but
We'll call it our area. Well, I'm out of here Monday, so my season's over. But so you'll have maybe I don't know if he's going to go out there or not.
If he does, tell him hit me up.
Just go check this area out because if you just want to see deer and of course everybody is hunting out of a saddle and a bow and it's athletic with it, wants to kill a big buck. They're out there.
Yeah,
there's big ones out there. The one that I was on in September that I couldn't get the shot on was fucking huge.
If you're a bow hunter and you're out there, it's your first time and you're actually going to bow hunt and your first time getting into hunting, Croatan is probably your best place to go see a deer.
Yeah. Just don't tell them. Don't tell them.
I'm not going to tell them my spots. Just go out there and look. I mean, there's tracks everywhere.
I think this was the first year I ever went out to Croatan, and I think maybe it was Randy's. I'm not sure, Randy, if it was your first time, but we went out to the weird. He was just on a whim, but it don't look like anybody has been out in this one particular part. And I was like,
fire breaks are undriven.
I was like, this is a good area, but I don't, and it's closer to my house. I don't like going out there. I don't know why.
I just had
I don't know why.
While I was in the bathroom, I stepped away for a second. Sometimes it helps to step away from a situation to think about it. Don says maybe west of Plank Road. Yeah, zones west of Plank Road, north of Manchester. Leave it like it is. Maybe the rest. Now, here's a thought. And if wildlife's listening, maybe take this into consideration. There is a collective of maybe I would say there's probably 30 or 40 adamant Fort Bragg hunters that hunt Fort Bragg every year. There's dudes that have been hunting it since the 60s. There's 100 now. I think what they should do is at the end of the year, they should put out information like how many attempts were made, how many bucks were harvested, the quality of bucks, the scores. There should
be a report on it.
And I think there should be a board of hunters. It could be a public hearing where they should do these motions, because I think there should be more involvement of the hunters with wildlife. That's where we need to work together. They could have a board and be like, hey, they could propose some ideas, because there is a power to do stuff. I don't know who it is that makes the decisions. Actually, I'm not clear on who decides, who decided a QDM. What I've heard about the QDMAs is they're new hunting properties. So a lot of Bragg used to be like that, but because I think they're like within the last 20 years, the NTAs have existed. So they're trying to do that to build up the population, build up quality deer.
I mean, that's why out west I say that I've seen bigger deer out west, because it's been around longer.
Yeah. And not a lot of, a lot of people go to the northern areas of Bragg because it's closer. When you think of where soldiers live, a lot of the guys that live in the barracks hunt the on-post areas.
Mass of people that live right there in that area.
Yeah.
Well, also, most of the guys that hunt are fucking married, and they all have a wife, and wives fuck up hunting, so they go close. You know what I mean?
I think most.
No, honey, I'll just be right here. I'll be out by 9 o'clock.
Most hunters would agree that I don't think it would hurt hunting on Bragg to have QDMAs. That's an awesome idea. Now, when I first started hunting, I'd be like, nah, fuck y'all, I want to kill my deer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot whatever. But you also do have a lot of hunters that are just out there to shoot a deer. And we can't take that away from them as well.
I think that if you're hunting with a compound bow shoot, I think that you should be able to shoot what you want. It's the gun hunters that need to be...
Generally in archery, you can shoot there's either sex.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it's a lot harder. But the problem with what you're saying is, and that in a perfect world, that sounds great. You get a bunch of guys together, and they all have a fucking common goal. I want no part of it, because I'm going to tell you right now, it'll be a shit show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a shit show, because you're going to voice your opinion. You're going to be very passionate about something, and I'm going to say, shut the fuck up, retard. You're fucking... And then, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I'm going to say that, but...
I mean, it happens.
That's what happens. It's like you get so... This is such a controversial issue.
It's like an HOA.
There's somebody out there right now that, if they're not listening now, if they ever hear this, they hate my fucking guts right now, because I am suggesting antler restrictions on all of Fort Bragg.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They hate me.
Randy says, I remember this. He killed a monster when you were helping me get out of the mud. That day.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a fact. But, Randy, to be fair, you told Buddy to go sit in a tree, and he chose not to, so that's on him.
Well, there's a very good reason why I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I would have shot that deer and I would have been happy and proud of it, Randy would be on here right now saying, yeah, he's got to follow me around. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm all about the fucking the checks and the cool points. Yeah. I don't need that. I don't need to kill that deer. Matter of fact, if I don't fucking leave... If I leave the Nicaragua on Monday with 2 empty buck tags, I'm happy that I went after the big buck and didn't shoot all the fucking scrubs.
I already have a meme that's pre-made that I'm going to drop on that.
6 tags? Hey, 6 tags. Now, I've already admitted I didn't tell anybody about the fucking baby one, but that was my practice, and that was my meat deer, and I'm not mad about it, but it was antlerless. But I've committed to this new... I don't know what I think is like. It's like being an athlete, trophy hunting. Yeah. And you know what? It's going to take some time to adjust. Trying something new.
For me, all my life, I've just been... my brother, he's killed big deer. Like, he was more avid hunter than I was. I was just out there, like, to sleep in my barrel stand. I don't know. Just, spider comes out, freak out, get the hell out of it.
Watching porn. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, I was not a good shot until I got a little more mature. Like, talking about those 5 shots with a single shot. I had a 410 with slugs. I had fucking 10 of them one time. Shot all 10 of them. Never hit a deer.
Damn,
thinking I was going to hit a deer with a 410.
I don't know. You're not doing too much better.
Yeah. Well, that was back then on iron sights, thinking I could hit something like 200 yards with a 410 slug.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just not good at back there on that day.
I'm going to talk to some of your fucking pilot homies and see how good of a pilot you are. I wonder if you're the like wrecking helicopters and shit and reckless.
No. I have a good safety record. If we're going to talk about safety.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just up until recently I killed a big deer last year, so I've been like, man, I've killed a few bucks in my life, but when I killed one that I thought was like I'm proud of. I'm just sitting here holding these things like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I've only had one my whole life that's like that.
I've had 2, and one was on Bragg and the other was in Georgia.
What I need to do is fucking stop hanging out with Randy and hang out with his brother, because his brother's a fucking really good hunter. He let one walk yesterday that was like, you won't even see that deer. I don't know, maybe you will, but it's very rare to see a deer that size on Fort Bragg, and he lets it walk, and he's hunting with a bow. And I'm looking at Randy like, why the hell am I hanging out with you?
Do we know, is there a record of the biggest deer taken on Bragg ever?
I heard it was taken in area PP. Papa.
When?
I heard
years ago.
A 160 something or something like that.
No, I think it was. I don't know if it was a 160. Skipper got him because I'm thinking Skipper's is over 170.
Skipper's is mass. Now if you're in the competition, there's been a couple.
Yeah, but ain't nobody even coming close to Skipper's deer.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, there's 2 last year were just as big.
Why were you asking me what size? Were you trying to compare that 10-pointer to Skipper's deer? Why'd you ask me what Skipper scored the other night?
Oh, no. Someone asked me what Skipper scored.
Oh, I thought
someone that's in the competition.
Because he showed me a picture of a 10-pointer that was hanging upside down. Then he asked me and I wanted to say, no way you think that one's competing.
No, I was with, I'm not going to put his name out there. You know him, but I was with him, and he shot a nice one.
Yeah.
And he was just wondering because he wanted to have his scores, and he wanted to see if there was even a chance.
Yeah, I think Skipper's is probably, I'm going to say, just to be safe, because I don't want to be wrong.
Skipper got his.
I'm going to say 180. I think somebody averaged it and said it. It's a rumor. Yeah. I don't know Skipper like that. He was here on the podcast, but we're not like homies.
Skipper,
you know what I'm saying?
If you're out there and you want to drop it in the chat.
But I think it's a 180.
Yeah.
You know, especially the way we're scoring, because we're not taking away for any of the imperfections.
I mean, looking at that deer and thinking about it, I had my brother-in-law. He's got some property up in Illinois. He hunts, and I think he took a 160 last year. And I held him, and I was like, man, it's massive.
Yeah.
And I looked at Skipper's, and I'm like, man, it's every bit as big, if not bigger.
Yeah.
So
I think somebody told me 170. Was it 177 or something like that? So that's why I'm going to say 180.
I mean, they're out there. Skipper kills 2 a year.
Yeah.
Logan Patrick, I wonder, is that you, Skipper? Says, leave my 11-pointer alone.
Was that what it was? I thought. No.
It had a lot of points.
Yeah, that was a 12-point. It was a 10-pointer, but it had split brow tines, which made it 12. And I love brow tines, man. Yeah. That one that you sent me,
dude, he had big
my God! And that one that was out there
like,
Friday, all you could see, he was walking away, but you could see his head was down, but you could see those brow tines. I call them the BBCs, the BBC brow tines.
Randy, you need to start the BBD page. That's funny. The Big Buck Down Club.
When he starts killing them, those weren't big bucks.
Okay.
That was a wide ass slugging.
That was awesome. You killed 2 of them like that. They had to be the same genes.
I think so. But I was telling him about it. See, on the page, I'm gonna break his balls.
It was
and what did he say? You just have to fucking tell me that it's a good. I said, "Okay, they're good deer." He's like, "Was that so hard?" I'm like, "Yes, it was hard, but." Right. The first one was a massive fucking deer, but I would have rather killed the second one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The second one was older. That thing had no teeth.
It looked like Dad and Grandpa, like the same genes.
Like even on the ground, that thing looked like fucking old.
He's gonna ask him. Ask Skipper, man, because I can't, get to him right now. But ask him if he minds putting it out, man, because that's a good thing to know.
That's his business.
So, you know what? Even if
he'll
don't
put it out.
He'll
put it out on January 7th at the Skin Shed.
Yeah,
because that's where you gotta. If you're in the contest, or even if you're not in the contest, you can just go up there and watch.
Now the contest is dry score, correct?
It's Buckmaster score. I don't know, whatever BT said. It's no deductions for kickers
because there's gonna be, because they obviously they dry up and the score will shrink. Once it's...
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a different wet score.
That's between... so Jonathan Holloway and... what's his name? The guy that was on... I talk to him all the time. Josh Woodford.
Yeah.
They're going to be measuring. So I'll let them determine that. But they are homies with Skip. No, Josh is, but Jonathan's not. Not that they hate each other. But
171 3/4. Damn.
That's nice.
It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
There's more out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got some on camera that are at least 140.
I know where he killed that one. So
next year.
If you see a white Jeep, well, I'll probably have a different car by then.
But it is. I think more QDMAs would be an awesome thing for Bragg. That's not a bad idea.
This is what I was going to say earlier.
That's what I said. Just
if you want to kill scrub bucks, that will entice more people to pick up a compound bow. Now, I don't think that crossbows should be considered archery in that sense. So if you sign in for archery, this is asking if you want me to make the rules. Hold on, we're about to we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I had it plugged in wrong, so we're at 4%. But if you want to kill scrub bucks and just kill everything with a compound bow, you should be able to kill what you want. Gun hunters, crossbow hunters, that should be QDMA. I don't know how to set that rule. 6 inches outside the ear. I don't know.
Just if you just do the QDMA the same they do the NTAs.
But I don't know, because you can kill a deer in the QDMAs right now, and it meets the profile, and it's still you shouldn't have killed that deer.
A lot of the hard part too is regulating, because there was an issue. They had to put out again reminder. Hey.
I remember last year a dude shot a deer. And it was running with doe, and it's kind of like gray light.
Yeah.
He thought it was a doe, and he shot, and it ended up being like a little 3 or 4 point.
They put out just recently reminder. I don't know if you checked in. Reminder.
Yellow.
QDMA is a 4-pointer above.
All right, look, we've got to go. I don't want to cut off. I want to say, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been here since the beginning.
Thanks, Brandon, for coming in.
Thanks for coming on. This is our last podcast. I don't know if we're going to get one in next week because I'm going to be just arriving and getting settled in. But as soon as I get set up and we get set up, we can do it remotely. It might even get better because now anybody can come on. You don't have to come in at a specific place, and you can do it from your house.
Video cam and a mic.
Yeah, just have your phone. You can just hold your phone up and just make sure you have a YouTube account. But this has been fucking dope, Brendan. I'm glad we did this. And man, I love hunting Fort Bragg, and I don't know, and everybody asks me, like, what am I going to do with the page and all that? Look, I'm not going off the grid, motherfuckers. No. Nicaragua is like closer than California.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But it's literally going to take me 6 hours with 2 flights to get there. So
here comes the sappy spiel. But first of all, just thank you to every single person that's been with us, tuning in. Thank you to all our guests who've made an effort to come out here. This has been awesome thing we got going on, and keep on the page, stay active, and keep helping out. Keep looking out for your fellow hunters and talk shit, and just everything is fucking great, man. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Stay tuned in, because like I said, it's going to be a little bit of a dry spell here until we get things hashed out, but stick with us.
And I think we're doing good. I think, we started this podcast. It was whatever was pissing him off.
Yeah.
And then I would just devil's advocate.
The arguments were great.
Yeah.
I was in there commenting.
It's like watching a gay married couple.
But, it's deer hunting season. So obviously we're deer hunters. That's what we're going to talk about. And it's kind of morphed into a deer hunting show. And deer hunting season ends. The Fort Bragg Hunt Club page kind of dies, and then we all kind of come back together in September, and then it's like we're all like guys you never even met before that you've talked to. They're like your family, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them. Yeah. But I don't know. We're just going to keep it going. I'll probably have some more social media things popping up.
Yeah. If for my closing comment, I'd just say put your time in. Get out there and scout. If you got any questions, I read a lot of shit. I ain't the best hunter in the world, nor the best shot.
He's pretty good. But I tell you what, he's a pretty good scouting motherfucker with his job and his technology at his disposal. I would definitely. I'm glad I met you.
I'll get tips to new hunters. Just hit me up.
I'm glad I met you, and you're a cool dude, and everybody I've met out there.
I have to say, so far as job-wise, the coolest profession we've had in here so far. That's pretty badass, man. For all you tuning in late.
We would have a fighter pilot on here, but Brendan don't like to be around fighter pilots.
Oh, me? No.
Yeah. You said you don't like to be around fighter pilots because you don't want them to fuck your wife. Because they're definitely going to fuck your wife.
Well, yeah, Brandon's he's an Apache pilot.
I wonder if Apache pilots are like that. Anyway.
Yeah, but hey, man, once again, thank you, Brendan, for coming in, dude. And
glad I could.
Y'all hit us up, man, on the private message. Keep in touch. And this is How Copy Podcast for the last time from the studio.
So bow hunting is harder.
Yeah. But get out there and take advantage.
No. I want my last words to be that.